Oh man, I think we live. I think we live. I think we live. How is everybody doing, man? I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we have done.
I want to show you something.
Oops, hold on
Go
for a
ahead and
second.
skip
Here for a
this
second.
video
Hold
if
on
you
for a
don't
second.
like gadgets. But I'm a dad,
Okay,
and I found this
skip
perfect.
that. So we got audio. I know it's been a minute. We got audio. We got audio. Polito, Asio, Mabuikwa. Greetings to each and every one of you. Hope everyone is having a great day thus far, man. We are on. It's the Matriarch build today, as usual. Every Sunday we doing that. Okay. Today we're gonna be talking about the Dawes Rolls, the census. Halito. We're gonna be talking about those records. We got a special guest coming on. I know we should be having a couple of guests, but I'm not sure about one other sister. I know she told me that she's stepping out, but if she get back home in time, then she'll definitely be on. All right. But we have a great bill, man. Greetings, family. Greetings. Although these bills are very important because, like I said, 2020 is around the corner, and I have to reiterate again that 2020 is going to be a momentous, time, with history or a story, so to speak. But it could also be a time of it could be a little bit, burdensome. And reason being is because a lot of things are going to change. All right, not just politically, but it's gonna have some spiritual impact. Okay, because everything is contractual. All right, everything starts within the mental, spiritual realm. All right, and it's manifest into flesh. All right, so we have to be aware of that. All right, so I'm looking forward to 2020. Honestly, I am. Like I said, it's gonna be a beautiful time. All right. So we're gonna give some more people some time, like I said, to get on the live feed. Any one of you guys who have any information, that deals with, the Dawes Rolls, I'm saying that you would like to share with the people, by all means, you know what I mean, be a guest. All right. Like I said before, this is our platform where, we just here to teach, share information, and enlighten the masses. You feel me? So that's what it's about. I would like to take this time out, to give thanks to Mother God, give thanks to my spiritual parents. Without them, man, honestly, I can't say I wouldn't have been able to get that far, but they have definitely held me down. You know what I'm saying, or guided me, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Aboriginal TV. So they have guided me. They haven't held me down, but they have guided me and they have kept me. So I'm very much thankful to, my ancestors for that. But without the great mother, none of that is possible. You know what I'm saying? So I honor her, and I am grateful. You know, so it's a beautiful time. Um, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share something with you guys real quick before one of our guests get on, because she's putting some of her information together right now. Okay, I know we've been talking a lot about identifying ourselves as a color, you know, and a lot of people, still take pride, in identifying themselves as black. Now, like I tell people before, all right, and it has to be a little bit repetitive. All right. Indigenous, Aborigine, one love. All right. Let me point something out to y'all. Let me see if I could get something. You see this right here? This is black. Okay. This mouse is black. This right here is black. Okay. And a lot of people take pleasure and pride in calling themselves that, not realizing how it's hurting them. See, God, all right. Furita, Aborigine, one love. They don't realize how it's hurting them. So there was a post on Instagram. I think it was ye, yesterday or today, earlier today or no. earlier today. There was a post on Instagram, right? And the sister made reference to, something about, it was a video, and there was a group of women that were calling themselves black, and how proud that they, black women are stepping up, and black women should, they have their natural hair and all that. And hey, man, listen, I am totally for our sisters going natural. I love it. Ain't nothing to me, and that's just my opinion. Ain't nothing like a sister with her natural hair. Okay, I love it. I really, really do. Okay, but what was a bit bothersome to me was the fact that you had about 30 women in that crowd, right? And each and every one of them identified as black, and they were so proud of it. So I made a comment. I'm like, man, I love this natural hair. My American Aboriginal sisters are beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't see any black people in there. You know what I'm saying? And then I asked a few questions. What nationality is black? What flag represents black? Where on the world map I could find black? And the sister who posted that post, greetings, Zazie, she took offense to that. Oh, I don't care what nobody said. I'm going to be black. But to me, the danger in this was, if you want to be black, that's on you. Okay, I can't force you to be anything that you want to be. You see, my goal is not to be on here infringing on people's rights. When I say right, the right to call yourself what you want, because that's your right. Okay, that's your right. That's the definition of free will. You have the free will to call yourself what you so choose. Okay? Now, you may have to deal with the ramifications of identifying yourself as a color in a crayon box. But hey, what do I know, right? But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was the fact that this sister, she teaches children. Okay? She teaches children. So here you are, you have a teacher who's adamant about being black and teaching our children that they are black. And we have gone over this a million times, family. A million times. But I will point it out again, because our people, a lot of our people don't see the detriment in calling themselves black. And she got into, well, she wanted to bring in something metaphysical. Oh, well, the white man can't tell me what to call myself, and if I want to call myself black, but first of all, it just goes to show the ignorance, because who said it was the so-called white man who called you black? It wasn't the white man who called you black. It was people who looked just like you who called you black. But once again, ignorance will surface and show itself in every aspect or every walk, every part of your journey, so to speak. All right? Now, being stupid is a choice. Okay? And it don't take a lot of work to be stupid. For real. But it takes a lot of work to be ignorant. All right? Because all you have to do is do a little research. It's not that hard. So she started telling me, oh, well, you know what? It's the white man. The white man can't tell me what to call myself. I'm like, no, it wasn't the white man, sis. But she wanted to do the back and forth. And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to force anything on anybody. So I'm going to just leave it alone. I said, sis, you know what? Have a great day. And I just left it as that. But I felt that the children that she teaches, okay, she is doing them a disservice. She's doing them a disservice. So when she got into, well, I'm not talking about the color of my skin. I'm talking about the essence. Black is the essence. Once again, people who speak, but they don't do research, okay? They don't study what they talk about. When we speak of essence, the essence is not black. And like I said, I will go into a video and break all of that down. The essence is dark. There's a difference between dark and black. Okay? There's a difference between dark and black. In the beginning, there was darkness. There wasn't blackness. It's two complete different things. You see, black absorbs all light, so therefore black is dead. But people, even when they speak of it in a metaphysical perspective, I could still shut it down. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. You and we have not just the sister, because I don't want to just speak on her alone. I've run across brothers who's doing the same thing. They just don't want to give up the black thing. Oh, well, it's not our skin, it's an essence. No, the essence is not black. The true essence is the Trinity. And like I said, we'll get into all that. I'm gonna do a I promise you guys, okay? Well, they say you can't make promises that you can't keep. Well, the only way I'm not gonna keep that promise is if my physical body decide to just drop, okay? And it's time for, you know, the I am in me to go back to the source. But if that doesn't happen anytime soon, I promise you, real soon, I'm gonna do a video and break all that down. And for those of you who are enlightened enough, trust me, you will get the information. You'll get it. Because I'm going to break it down so easy that a 2, a 3, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old could get this and know exactly what I'm talking about. So literally, even if you were to speak of black in a metaphysical perspective, all right, it still means death. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the color black. I love a black car. I love black clothes. The color black is beautiful, but I'm not black. You know? So let me just share a little post with you, because you see, a lot of people looked up to Obama as their idol and their president and their first so-called black president. I have never, ever heard Obama call himself black. And I want anybody to prove me wrong. Anybody, please prove me wrong. I have never heard Obama call himself black. Never. Now, let me just share something with y'all real quick. Because like I said, 2020 is coming up and we have to get this. For those of you who don't get it, what can I say? It's like the allegorical story of Noah. And I'm saying the allegorical story. If you don't know what allegorical means, and I'm not trying to be funny, you know, if you don't know what allegorical means, go look it up. But I'll tell you what it means. In essence, it means not meant to be taken literally. Okay? So in the allegorical story of Noah, when Noah warned everybody that, you know, there was a storm coming, a flood is coming. But nobody wanted to listen. Nobody wanted to listen. He was building. Hey, come help me out. People was laughing, you know, mocking him. Nobody was listening. He built the ark. The animals went in. Like I said, it's an allegorical story. All right. Still give them an opportunity to get in the ark. But they were hardened. When the doors were shut, all of a sudden, the rain started coming and the flood came. It was too late. They all drowned. Now, whether that story was true or not, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the lesson. Did you get the message? Okay? And that's how I look at that book, to get the message. You feel me? Did you get the message? It's the same thing. I'm not the only one talking about this. There are a lot of other brothers and sisters talking about this. But people are going to be stubborn. People are going to be stiff-necked. And some people are just going to perish because they just didn't take the time to do the research. But there are people who know, and they're still going to be hardened. But let me just share this real quick from Obama for y'all. Y'all president, not mine. Okay? Let me see something. All right, the sister just texted me. Let me see what she said. She said, let's try it again with my phone. I hope it works. I'm not sure. Give me thank you, you know, Fury Ty, you know, Aborigine for supporting the super chat. I appreciate that. The sister who wants to get on as a guest, She just hit me up, but she's hit me on Hangout. She's not. Let me call her real quick, guys. Give me a second. Like I said, we building. We all family. So let me just give her a call real quick. Hey, I sent you the link for your email. Did you get it? Well, you would have to go to your email because you hit me up on Google Hangouts, but you have to come on the Google Hangouts on the feed. I'm on the live that I'm doing, not on my phone. So I sent it to your email. Well, it could work on the phone if you go to the link that I sent you. You feel me? Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, I got the same number, but just in case you could send me an email, Aboriginal TV, you could send me an email. My email is in the link below. All right. So let me share this with you. And Obama said that in his own words. All right. Your first black president. But not once Obama has ever said he was black. Any one of you guys prove me wrong. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Let's go here. And once again, thank you, Fury Taino, for supporting the super chat. I appreciate that. Let us go to here. All right. Now, this is the this right here. And you guys do me a favor, right? Y'all could verify the information. Y'all don't have to believe anything that I say. Please do not believe anything that I say. Okay. Prove me wrong. Go do your own research. All right. I don't want nobody to be a sheep. Okay. I'm not here to be a shepherd, so I ain't got no sheep. I want to give you the information and let you go check it out yourself and find out whether it's true or not, whether it's factual, it's a fact or fiction. All right? All right, cool. Barack Obama says black has no standing at law. And that was October 16th, 2012. I didn't say it. Barack Obama said it himself. All right, let us go here for a second. All right, I know this thing is floating. It says what? Here we go. He said it not to me. So, Tom Joyner interviews President Barack Obama on his Tom Joyner morning show and greets him by saying, "It's our first black president of the United States." That was on the Tom Joyner morning show. So once again, you ain't got to believe me. All right? President Obama replies, open quote, "Tom, I don't look at myself as the first black president because the word black has no standing at law." Okay? Has no standing at law. So how is that if your so-called black president telling you he ain't black, why do my people continuously calling themselves black? That's what I want to know. And you know what, guys? I'm going to put that link in the description below for you guys as well, so you could check it out yourself. Okay? You feel me? So your own president, the one you love so much, who you think did so much for you, he said what? "I am not the first black president because I don't consider myself to be black." Because what? Black is dead in law. All right? So if black is dead in law, let us go share something else. All right? And I've done this before. And I've showed you exactly what it means when you call yourself black or when you call yourself a civilian. Okay? Brothers and sisters, study to show yourself improved. Let me go share my screen again. This is what it means when Barack said, and I've been telling you for a very long time, and I'm certainly sure you have heard it from Moors and so many different people, all right, that black is dead in law. Not just in law, Black is dead in the spiritual realm too, because it kills light. Okay? So I don't want nobody coming to tell me, oh, well, it's the essence, and oh, no, it's no. We didn't come from black. We came from dark, not the black. Okay? But like I said, I'll break that down in another video. So this is exactly what Barack Obama meant. And we have been telling y'all for a very long time, when you call yourself black, this is what it means. Civil death. Okay? Civil death. Latin. Saliviter motus, or motus, is the loss of all or almost all civil rights by a person due to a conviction for a felony or due to an act by the government of a country that results in the loss of civil rights. So you don't. It's not only when you become a felony you become black. No. Okay. It could be due to the act of a government, a country, and it results in the loss of your civil rights, family. So where do we get this pride, of foolish pride of, and I'm just saying, don't get me wrong. If you don't know, that's fine. But when you are being taught, at least do the research and find out, well, what is Chief talking about? What is everybody talking about? Why are these people telling me black means death? I mean, you know what? Let me do my own research, because I don't believe them. And that's fine. You don't have to believe anything I say or other people say. My thing is, why aren't you doing your own due diligence? That is my question. That's just all I'm asking. Now, it says civil death, because you call yourself a civilian, right? But are you really a civilian? Well, let us see. Let us go look at the legal definition of civilian, right? Shall we? Legal definition of civilian. Legal definition of civilian, Black's Law, right? Let us look at the legal definition of civilian. That should be the second edition. Let's go look at that real quick. And then I'll come back to you guys on the live video after I share this. All right. The sister told me she doesn't have the link. What I'll do is I'll post it in the live feed, and she should be able to click on it there. Okay. All right. All right. So here we go. The definition of civilian in a law dictionary, it says what? One who is skilled or versed in civil law. A doctor, a professor, or a student of a civil law. Man, well, come on, I don't accept nothing. Also a private citizen, as distinguished from such as belong to the army or navy, or in England, the church. All right, a private citizen of that's related to somebody in England. But let me ask you a question. You call yourself a civilian. Are you versed in law? Are you skilled or versed in civil law? That's what civilian is. Are you a doctor? Are you a professor? Are you a student of civil law? So when you keep calling yourself these things, you are fighting for civil rights. You are getting civil rights, because the people who are actually civilians are the lawyers, the doctors, the politicians. They are the ones who are the true civilians. Guess who got all the rights? Man, listen, family. I mean, hey, they say knowledge is power. That's true. But the implementation of the knowledge is the real power. You feel me? Because when you call yourself black, you're dead in law. That means salivity matus, right? You have lost all your civil rights. Now, a lot of people out here, they have groups seeking what? All these civil rights movements and all that stuff. Guess what? I just showed you the true definition of a civilian. One who is skilled or versed in law, in civil law, not just any law, civil law. A professor, a doctor. Are any of you guys that? That is a true civilian. So when you're fighting for civil rights, you're fighting for the rights of lawyers, doctors, politicians. Those are the people you're fighting the rights for. You see how they tricked you? Family, I don't know about you. I'm not a civilian. Well, I guess I could be because I'm skilled in law. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I don't practice law, but I'm skilled in law. I know law. Or I'm versed enough. So you have to see the games and the tricks that are being played on you. Like I told y'all before, legalese is a complete different language. It's a complete different language. It sounds like English, but it's not English. That's why when you get detained or arrested, or because they arrest you, that's a form of detainment. So what they tell you, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law, because they know that once you have been arrested or you have been detained, you are stepping into a whole new arena of another language. All right. Let me give me a second here, brothers and sisters. Golden Crown Sparrow, I'm not sure if you're listening to the live feed, but if you are, I'm gonna post the link in the chat so you're able to go on. Give me a second, guys. Yes, I'm gonna put the link in the chat and you could click on it from there. I think that might be better for you. Okay? I'm gonna do it now. All right, cool. All right, yeah. Okay, let's put that in here. All right, there we go. Good. All right. So like I said, man, we have to start putting these things in perspective. All right. Don't just get the knowledge, but go research it yourself. That's what you got to do. And then once you have researched it, then you know how to apply it, right? Now let us go look at so now that you know black is dead in law, even your president said it. And I just showed you what he meant when he said it. So leave it to Matus, right? And when you call yourself a civilian fighting for civil rights, you're not fighting for your rights. You're fighting for their rights. And then from the rights that you give them, they give you privileges that could be taken away from you. But let us go look at go to Google real quick. Let us go look at the preamble of the Constitution, because that's the reason why Constitution is not in the courts anymore, because people want to be civilians when they don't realize they are being tried by the real civilians, which is the judge, which is the prosecutor. You see what I mean? They got you in a civilian court. It is not your court. It's only your court when you are the people. Now, well, Chief, can you prove that? Yes, let's go. The preamble. Preamble of the Constitution. Let us go read that real quick. And I'm just going to share that real quick because I know Golden Crown Sparrow might get on real soon. So let's share that real quick. All right, the preamble of the Constitution. Where we at? What does it say right here, family? Right here. We the people. That's all we have to say. We the people. The question I'm going to ask you is, are you one of we the people? Are you black? Are you African American? Are you a civilian? Are you a defendant? Are you a suspect? Are you a plaintiff? Or are you one of we the people? You see, all those are different categories, but the only one that really counts is what? We the people, because the people were the ones who created the Constitution and they ordained it. And they put the Constitution in place so that these people, the true civilians, could be kept in check. Okay, so it says what? We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure of the blessing of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. What? Do, ordained, and establish this Constitution. Okay? So at the end of the day, family, it's the people who have the power. or it should be the people who have the power, but the people have given up their power by becoming civilians, by becoming black, by becoming African Americans, and even to a certain extent by becoming white, because it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Okay, the only difference between white and black in the system is that white is considered to be first class. You're free, so to speak. Okay, so I just wanted to go over that with you guys, and hope it makes sense. Okay, if it don't make sense, well, I don't know what to tell you. But we have our guest here. Greetings, 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 my sister. How you feeling?
I'm doing well.
Yeah,
Alito, everybody. Alito, alito.
that's what it is. That's what it is, man. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
hmm
Even if
Am
you
I
didn't,
coming in clear?
yeah, oh yeah, you coming in as clear as day.
Okay. Well,
You
I
coming
apologize to everyone. I could not get into this chat. I'm a little text challenged, so I didn't know. Chief know how I am. I was going to fight him, or the Google chat,
Now you
or
good.
the
Now you good. Now
or
you're not
Gmail, or
late.
somebody. I could not get in.
Now you're not late. You're right on time, man. We
Okay.
never late. You're right on time, and you are as clear as a Native American.
Hey, that's what. What? What?
Now
Don't play with
you
me.
said no, no. You said are we clear? I'm like, yeah. You
You
know,
know it. Chief. I still haven't forgiven you about the kids and goat thing. So, I'm still trying to recover from that. That one. You're good with tricking, getting people in their etymology correcting us. So, yeah. Chief.
yes.
Oh, I thought I lost you for a moment. Okay. All right. So,
So,
what are we doing?
well, the question is, would you be able to share your screen, or if you can't figure that out, then maybe we could just talk about the information, and you could just, elaborate on what you are going into or reading.
Yeah, I'm not, this is all new to me. So, once again, we're going to work through this.
Okay.
I'm not exactly confident on how to share the screen.
Okay.
So I don't. What do I need to do?
Well, what you could do is, are you on your phone or are you on
I'm on the iPad.
you're on your iPad? Now, if you
hmm
look towards the left corner of the Google Hangouts,
hmm
you'll see there is an arrow,
Right.
green arrow.
Yes.
Yeah, you click on that, and then it's gonna allow you to share. Now, once the share window come up, you click on it, then the share button will be highlighted, and then
Okay.
it share, and then you're able to share whatever your screen is showing.
Okay. Let me see if I can get to the screen that I need to get to.
Okay, so while our sister Golden Crown Sparrow is figuring this out, just
hmm
a reminder, we're gonna be talking a little bit about the census. We're gonna be talking about the Dawes Rolls, because she has done extensive research on the Dawes Rolls, and information, within the line of the Dawes Rolls and census and all those things, genealogy searches. So I'm not saying she's an expert. She would have to tell you how her expertise, but definitely in talking to many different people, she's one of the few people that I know that have done some extensive research on that. So I think she's qualified to drop some information.
She might be qualified, but she can't figure out how to share. So
It's okay. It's okay.
let,
And
let, let me talk through what I have,
mm,
and I appreciate that such gracious introduction. But I am definitely a work in progress myself. I'm still learning this thing. I do have a sister that I've been working with, and unfortunately, she couldn't join me on the call this evening. I really would have appreciated her input as well, because I stopped at a certain level. I think the last time I was on your call, the channel,
mm,
I stated that I found my great 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 ancestor came off the Mayflower.
mm,
And that sent me in such a spiral. I was so upset that I stopped looking. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see anything else after that. I was like, that's the enemy.
mm,
So I stopped looking. But my sister, thankfully to her, she
mm.
was able to, pick up the pieces where I left off at, and she found some great information. So I'm probably going to have to talk through some of the information, and that we found.
Okay.
It is so important, you all, to do your genealogy. I know these Native Americans and these, fake. I'm not going to even be rude tonight. I'm just going to see there are people that'll try to encourage you to do a DNA.
Mhm.
That's not where you're going to find your information. Genealogy truly is the key. You have to do your genealogy. And I know it's difficult for us because a lot of this information was hidden. A lot of the information, especially for us ultra melanated people,
Mm.
have been stopped at a certain, point. We have found, my sister and I have found that if you do find any Caucasian, or any other, did I say race or nationality in your genealogy, if you know of that, that will allow you to go back further.
Mhm.
They discriminate in so many different ways. It's not even funny, but because of that information, because we found the people on the Mayflower and they may have been Caucasian, and I say may loosely because we know a lot of people that we think were Caucasian were actually melanated, but
Mhm.
because of who they were, allowed us to go back a lot further. Um, so, that's what we found.
Okay. So
So, mhm.
my question is, you did the genealogy search now and you found that information. First, let's
Right.
talk about the source. Where did you find that information?
Well, again, I started with okay, going backwards. And the last time I was on your channel, I gave away some gems, and all of a sudden, I go back to some of these resources and they're missing. But it started with me. I started with ancestry.com, which most
Mm.
people start with, right? And I
Mm.
couldn't go. I can only get back to maybe the late um 1800s. I couldn't go very far. So I got discouraged and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I was able to find maybe one ancestor in the 1850s, but that's about it. It was a wash.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was I went to archives.com, and with everybody that I'm speaking of, I did a free, the free 30-day trial or 9-day trial or something like that.
Mm.
Since then, because for myself, because we're doing so much research, I am still paying for these memberships for most of the ones that I'm going to mention. But again, you don't have to. I'm going to give you some other information. But for me, so what I ended up doing was I had a membership to archives. I had that membership for like almost 2 years, and I decided to reactivate the membership just to see if it'll give me a little bit more input. Went on archives.com, and what ended up happening was I, came to find out that my grandmother on my mother's side, my first grandmother on my mother's side, they spelled her name wrong.
Mm.
And that's why I wasn't able to go back far. And you're going to find that a lot in the census, you're going to find the name, like even my grandfather, his name is Arthur, Arthur. And you would think everybody knows how to spell Arthur. Well, um, on one of the censuses, I found his name spelled Author, Aut as in Tom, Her.
Mm.
Author. Like, how do you misspell? And I think a lot of stuff, maybe it could have been, maybe they couldn't understand. I don't know what it was, but I think some of this, I believe a lot of this stuff was done on purpose. It's just me. But so by me doing that, it linked at that time. Archives would say you put that name in, it'll say you may be, I think it would let you know that you might be related to somebody else, somebody maybe of importance or just somebody else. And when I got the correct spelling of my grandmother, that's when it linked me up to I think his name was Francis Cook on the Mayflower. So that was that particular person. So that allowed me to go that far. And then I said, okay, let me take a little further. So then I started searching. So from that, the good thing is like I said, I don't think they have that information anymore, but they did have it. It gives you the names of the parents of that person.
Mm.
So with that information, my sister, like I said, I checked out when I saw Mayflower, but my sister took the information. She went back to Ancestry and she started building from there. Her tree is huge, and I wish I could. I don't know her password to get into her account, but I wish I could pull up her Ancestry account because it is phenomenal. And but even for the melanated, I didn't get she. So she worked on that. I was working on the the indigenous, the Indian part. So what I ended up doing, the next step, because I still couldn't, I found my grandfather, I found my father, my grandfather. Um, Again, my grandfather was born in 1874. Found him. He was married twice. My grandmother was his second wife. And so I found him on the first instance. So I went to the library. That helped me find Indian. So when I went to the library had, I pulled him up. All the other times when I was looking him up through archives and ancestry, it always came up colored or Negro or something like that. The library is so important because not only does it give you information that you may not be able to find on your part, even if you're paying for a membership, you can go to your local library and it'll say free, it'll say ancestry.com, free library edition. That's the edition that you want to see because that edition is different from the edition that you're paying for. Totally different. Well, not totally different, but it's somewhat different. Gives you allows you to go back a little further. There are some libraries that allow you to go through microfiche. You know, they may have a microfiche that you can look at. I haven't did that. My sister did because the library that we went to the first time didn't have that. So she went to another library and she found the microfiche. So that's what we've been. There are so many different websites that have genealogy. Don't just rely on one. Like I said, some of them are free. Some of them are you may have to pay a membership for, but they usually come with a free trial. You know, I would say use that baby until if you don't want to pay for the membership, use it to your advantage. Use the free trial until it expires, and then cancel it. But for me, it has been beneficial to pay for those particular ones. So the one that let me go back for a moment. I'm sorry. Let me stop because I'm talking too much. Did you have a question for me?
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna do is I was gonna add. Well, first of all, let me just give a shout out and thank you to Indigenous Aboriginal Human for for supporting the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. I'm greeting Sister Felicia. Sister Felicia may get a chance. She may want to come on. Patty, peace, Patty. All right. But what I'm gonna add to what you were saying is this: when you spoke of the name and the different variation of the name, right? I agree with you. That was done intentionally because a lot of these, and like you said, we are gonna be kind. I mean, we're not gonna, talk any hate or any type of animosity here. But a lot of these people who usurped, let's put it that way,
right,
our identity and our culture and our languages, they took a lot of those names.
right.
And what they did to get on the census, what they did was they just changed a letter or two. So they did that intentionally. So the original people, let's just say, like you said, Arthur, where maybe they spelled it like Authur, change the U and put an E. And then they would take that name and then put themselves on the census.
Exactly. I even found I'm helping a friend do her genealogy, and her great grandfather, his name was Randolph. His first name was Randolph, but his nickname was Duff.
Yeah.
Nobody would think that a trained specialist, what we think is a specialist, would go out and put on a census Duff. And they put the name as Duff. So she had been searching for this individual, for so long, but she was searching by his government name or his lawful name. She couldn't find him, and I said, what is his name again? Now getting a little bit familiar with some of the tricks that they played for the various reasons that some of the reasons that you just stated. I ended up putting in Duff, and I found him, and I said, these people are just amazing. So one of the my giving out a lot of my information, my sister's gonna kill me, but my grandmother on my mother's side, her last name is Barnett. So again, finding a lot of information on the Barnett family. That Barnett family was very prominent. The Caucasian ended up becoming prominent. I don't think they were prominent when they got over here. So, I'm not going to give them any kudos and say, oh, yeah, they were this and that. No, I think they came over here and did land grabs just like everybody else did when they came over here. But they did become very prominent. And that family, through that family is where I found any history of slavery. And what I mean by that is my grandfather, I think my fourth great grandfather, they stated that he owned slaves, And that even with him being as wealthy as he was, when you look on the census, you only see about 3 or 4 slaves. And Chief knows that I had, stumbled across another relative on my. Well, I'm sorry. I don't even know if he's my relative. Let me correct myself. On my paternal side, grandfather's last name is Smith. So because I was so determined to find if there were any, slaves in my family, I'm still looking for the slave. So I put his name in, put his full name in, and I put slave. I put it in the search engine I think I was on genealogy.com. That's another website that I use. So let me start all over again. So I have ancestry.com that I'm a member with. There's another one that's free that's called myheritage.com. I'm with so many. Archives.com, genealogy.com, and Fold3, which is for military. And the reason why I keep these because they all have different purposes for me. The Fold one, you will find out when you go on that particular website that not only does it offer indigenous information, that's the only website that, at least that I could find, that I can actually put Dawes Roll in the search engine, put in a relative's name that I think that may be on the census, and it'll come up with the Dawes Roll. It may be that relative, it may not be that relative, but that was the first census that I could find where a name would come up with the index card and the name of the tribe that this individual was with. I only found that through fold3.com. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist anywhere else.
Fold the number 3?
Yeah, like you're folding your hands. F is in Frank, 3, and the number 3.com. It's a military. It states that it's just for military, and it does have a lot of military. It has the 1812 Indian Wars in there. It's a lot of information in there. So you can find out if some of your relatives, like my sister found out, a couple of our relatives were in the military. They were in the Civil War. So that information is in there. But even if your family members were not in the military, it still has their indigenous information in there. So it may, if they were able to make it to, to put themselves on the list.
Okay.
So so that's that. Yeah, that's some of the ones.
All right, cool. Let me interject here for a second, right?
Okay.
So so we talked about just some of the games that they play by taking our so-called, well, I'm not gonna say last name. We don't have any last names, but our surnames or our family names, and changing a letter, and then they were able to get on these doors and do the censuses, right? But well, let me just give a shout out to Miss Mohawk, also Redbird, Sister Felicia. If you are still able to come on, let me know. I think that by you sharing your grandmother's story is definitely a plus as well. So if you're able, just let me know, and I'll put the link in the chat, and you could come on. But moving forward, I know you spoke of all these different sites you could do genealogy searches, but and you could do a subscription. However, would you agree that which I've mentioned before, if you go to the Church of Latter-day Saints, the more go into their facilities, you don't have to pay for that membership at all, because they have access to all those databases, and they will sit with you for hours, and they will help you do your genealogy search. All you would have to do is just pay for your printouts. Is that correct?
That is correct. But again, that has to do with the library. So when you go to the library and you click on that ancestry.com, it's actually pulling from the information that you just stated. It's coming from the Mormons. And it's coming from that myheritage.com. All of it is linked together. They have all these different fancy names, but they're all pulling from one entity, which is the Mormon Church. And you are so correct. Now, you do have to find a genealogist at that particular library. You could go to any library and pull up that website. So don't get me wrong, but any library may not have a genealogist. So it's important that you go through myheritage.com, which is the Mormons website, and then you look for, you put in your zip code, and it not only will it show you the library in your area, it's showing you the one with a genealogist, that specifically that have genealogies on board. Don't let them try to trick you up. You know, like what happened with my sister and I when they were trying to tell me African American. I'm like, I'm not African. I don't know what that is. Can you know explain? So,
Mm,
you know, but they may try to gear you towards, you know, that African thing. You
mm,
know, let them know you're in control. You're looking for the, you know,
mm.
the indigenous. You're looking for your Indian
Right.
heritage. And so, you know, they may or may not cooperate. But like I said, my sister and I, we just kept it moving.
Okay.
But you are so correct. They will, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people didn't make it to the Dawes Roll. And I sent some, I can't share this screen because I found information about the Creek tribe.
Mm,
I don't know if anybody, you know, well, I'm sure some of the viewers have, you know, heard they may be part of the Creek
mm,
tribe or clan, and we know better as clan.
mm,
So back in the 1800s, let me see if I can find that article that I sent you, Chi,
mm,
and talks about how there was a migration of the Creek Indians that decide, you know, they cooperated and they decided to move and go, you know, go west. And they were in a ship. This article is just so profound, and I'm just perplexed of why we didn't hear about this in school. But
mm,
these Indians decided to go, you know, they decided to cooperate. They took that journey west. And what happened was there were two I guess you would call them schooners. I don't know if they call them ships back then, but basically they overloaded the ship, and I think they did this on purpose. And these people got in this ship. It was like 700, and the ship was over capacity. And there was enough, and they intoxicated. They were talking about how the Indians, how the captain, you know, was ignoring the calls for them not to, you know, voyage on because it was too dangerous. He didn't care. They purposefully, I believe, got some of the people that were on board. The Indians gave them, you know, hard drinks. They were drunk, so it was a lot of, you know, little ruckus going on. And what ended up happening was the ship was going upstream, which is unheard of. You think about a ship going is loaded to capacity, and it's going upstream. Well, there was another ship coming downstream, and it collided cross. Somehow they collided crossway into each other, split the ship in half. Most of the people on the ship died, and the ones that didn't, you know, several people died. This is an article. This is all documented. It was called the Monmouth Mon like mammoth, but it's not mammoth. It's
I'm not always gonna play the.
Monmouth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Monmouth, and that happened like 18. I think it was 1830 that happened. To me it brings back the information about why so many people either did not make it to that Dawes Roll or decided not to because they were losing family members like crazy. You know, we didn't hear about this.
Mm,
So 9 times out of 10, if they didn't make it, guess what? Just like you stated,
mm,
somebody else put their name
yeah.
on that Dawes Roll and said, "Oh, they, you know, they missed out. They decided not to come. You know, whatever."
Yeah.
And they know they were killing our people. And you know, it's like whatever we tried to do, even when we were trying to cooperate, whatever way we tried to,
Mhm.
they always had something in place.
And another thing as
Mhm.
well, which I agree, is the fact that not everybody could have traveled cross country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They couldn't have afforded that to travel, you know, cross country to go fill out no damn Dawes Roads.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right. Hmm.
you because even and how can we verify that? When I had the conversation with that Cherokee Nation, the people, they said, well, you know, if they couldn't make it, it was not our fault if they choose not to show up. You feel what I'm saying? So,
I feel you. I feel
yeah.
you.
So they knew exactly what they did, man.
Hmm.
They made it on because they had a plan.
They did.
Okay, a lot of people will
Hmm.
fail to realize that these people strategize. These things just didn't happen coincidentally. No,
Hmm.
it was planned, it was
Hmm.
strategized, it was put in place. I'm talking about years even before they
Right.
came here. Because if
Right.
you look at the etymology of census,
Hmm.
it didn't start here. Okay?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And I know that because, like I said, I think ours really did start in the late 1700s, 1790.
Mm,
But again, in my family, because of that particular individual, you know, my sister is in the 1400s.
mm,
So they went way, who knows? And she probably can keep going further. But right now, she's in the 1490s, if I'm not mistaken.
mm.
So I know it started, all that stuff, all that crap started over there. And they just
Yeah,
brought that mess over here. Yeah.
because what I'm gonna do, what I'm actually doing right now, I'm pulling up the etymology of census because we didn't have that crap over here.
Right.
Okay? We didn't have that. Let us go. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna share the my screen so people could actually see it. Because like I said, it's one thing to hear something, but it's with all people, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you know, sometimes we just have to hear some things sometimes for it to make sense. But hey, the majority of the people they want to see. So
Okay.
I'm sharing the screen right here. Census, right? 1610 in reference to registration and taxation in what? Roman history. So when you go look at all the videos that I've shown you, and I'm just gonna run through it real quick. The Roman history, it was the empire where the Moors, the Moorish Empire was in Rome. And when they fell, they moved again to Spain, fought Spain, they lost their reign, and they came into the United States and brought all this BS. Because all that was part of their setup, part of their government. We didn't have that. We wasn't taking the roles of Indians and Dawes Rolls and census of Indians now. Because everybody knew who their children was.
Right.
Everybody knew who the community was. But they brought all that here. So I'm going to finish that. 1610 in reference to registration and taxation in Roman history. The enrollment of names and property assessments of all Roman citizens, originally past participle of sincere to asses. See censor, the modern use of census as official enumeration of inhabitants of a country or state, with details begins in the US in 1790, which was the first census, and Revolutionary France 1791. Property for taxation was the primary purpose in Rome. Okay, that's why when they came here in 1790 with the first census, Indians weren't allowed to be on the census because Indians were not taxed. And we had our own governments. So we didn't take part in the census. However, a lot of our people were tricked into wanting to be part of their society. So what they had to do, they had to give up their status of being Indians to assimilate with the status quo, which is to be a citizen, to be black, to be African American, to be Negro, to be all these different things, except who we are. We are the only people that's mentioned in the Constitution. Okay? And a lot of people may talk about, oh, we shouldn't call ourselves Indians. Well, why not? Because we were the first people when they came here, they called Indians, and all the treaties are signed with the Indians, all the benefits are with the Indians. Okay? So why they don't want you to be an Indian is because they know if you find out that you're the Indian and you correct your status of being an Indian, then all these treaties and all these laws to show and prove that these governments have no authority over you, it applies to you. And all the land allotments, okay, the deal was that land is in trust for the Indians. So the moment we realize we're the Indians, we have a right to put in these claims to get back these lands. So
That's right.
Our
That's
people
right.
gotta realize what's going on. Don't let nobody fool you, man. Nah. Yes, I get it. Okay, Indian is a misnomer, but nah, I'm cool with that. Because they got other people playing Indian and they getting everything that's mine.
And that's the thing, especially with this, this push about this Native American. You can't find one treaty that talks about Native American. I
Exactly.
haven't found one.
Yep.
I haven't even found an article, because a lot of these different websites that I mentioned, they have collections where you can actually look at old newspaper articles, things of that nature. I have yet to see a newspaper article that says Native American. I don't know what that is. I yet to see it.
Because
I don't know.
wasn't there.
They didn't exist. That's just
Yep.
like this African American thing.
Yep.
That Native American is very new. That
Yeah.
they are a new construct of terminology as well as
Yep.
people. They're new.
Absolutely. I just pulled up the Mammoth sinking, the 3 accounts of the drowning of the 400 creeks.
Right. Okay.
So I'm going to read a little bit of that. I'm not going to read the entire thing.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll find a way to put it in the link for the people to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you please? And I think I sent you. I'm going to send you something else about this particular individual that may be a family member, and I wanted to expound on him just a little bit because this. I think I shared with you a little bit earlier. Well, this gentleman went, he did what he was supposed to, what they asked him to do. He went all the way, not only, this was in 1901, he went all the way to Washington, D.C. to proclaim his indigenous right. He took his father with him, and his father was 49 years old at the time. He went before the board, proved that he was a Creek Indian. He was a member of the Creek. He was born in Creek territory in Oklahoma. He was a Creek Indian, had always been a Creek Indian, was accepted as a Creek Indian. So when I looked this individual up through archives.com and genealogy.com, wouldn't you know, he comes up as colored. So, and I maybe that doesn't mean anything to somebody else, but for me, that lets me know, I don't care what we did. I don't care how much proof that we have shown these people. They are so disrespectful. For this man to go through that great lengths at 1901, and they still put him in the census as colored or black. I couldn't believe, I don't know, for me that floored me, because there's other individuals that are on census that I found that's in the that says Indian, and you look them up in the census and it says Indian. So why didn't he get the same? And I'm saying that to say this: if he got that disrespect, guess what? Every last one of our family members got that.
That's facts.
They did it to every last one of us to throw us off. And if we don't do our genealogy, if we depend on this DNA crap, we will never get to the root of what how far this the deception is. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that really still has me piping hot. This man went through that.
That's fine. Hey, this is the Matriarch build. I mean, shoot, you could talk from now till we end. We done. Good. But I just want give a shout out to my brother Creek Running Water. Also to my brother Crumb from Crumb TV. All right, make sure y'all check him out. Sister Rona, greetings, and just want to give Kiones, the Aborigine, greetings as well. Mama Lioness, greetings, love to you. Definitely once we're gonna bring on Mama Lioness and Sister Felicia soon, but I want Sister Felicia to come on in a minute. But I do want to read a little bit from that Creek excerpt, that document that you sent me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read from that. Let me see.
I wish I knew how to mute myself. I don't know how to mute myself.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Mute yourself, nice, cool. I mean, you ain't breathing hard. All right, so I'm gonna read some of it, and like I said, I'll get the link and I'll put it in the description later. All right.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of people who actually part of the Creek Nation. The Creek was a nation, and they were a plethora of clans that made up the Creek Nation. Okay, so 3 accounts of the drowning of 400 Creeks who stood on the bridge of the steamboat Mammoth and peered through the misty October 31st night in 1837. His journey had begun at New Orleans a few hours before, and when he looked back now, he could see the lights of the Baton Rouge fading in the distance. The heavily loaded boat, filled with 700 Creek Indians, was making its way northwest up the lower Mississippi en route to the Red River and beyond. A cold rain was falling, but the man was well protected by his thick outer garments and wide-brimmed hat. A shrill sound suddenly pierced the darkness, and he jumped as if a gun had gone off next to his ear. Frantically, he rushed forward. He rushed forward the wheelhouse to ask why the pilot had rung the bell. "Don't you see?" the pilot yelled. The man scarcely had time to look before another boat struck Mammoth. The violent collision broke the bows of Mammoth, and waters of the Mississippi poured in. Split in two, Mammoth went down, taking over 300 creeks with it in the worst pre-Civil War disaster on the Mississippi River. Word of the collision spread slowly despite the gruesome losses. The first telegraph line between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore would not be in operation for another 7 years. Newspapers, letters, and pamphlets had to be carried on horseback, by stagecoach, and by steamboat. Newspaper readers in the East might not have had word of the accident for weeks if they had got it at all. The local newspaper picked up the story from the surviving boat officers and crews, but the disaster stopped being news very quickly, and no fingers seemed to be pointed in the aftermath. Years later, corporate and political pressure to improve and update river navigation practices began to grow. It was only then the stories about Mammoth and other costly steamboat accidents were revived to challenge the obsolete rules governing the river travels. The steamboat had been introduced on the Mississippi in 1811, and by 1820, paddle wheelers had become numerous on the Big River because of a low unit cost of steamboat freight and the sheer numbers of passengers that could be literally packed on the boats. The steamboat began a favorite of shippers and of ticket agents. The development of the huge Mississippi basin was due in large part to the steamboat. In the 1830s, some 18,000 creeks were moved from Georgia and Alabama to western lands. Okay, now we didn't say that they migrated on their own, they were moved. All right, we have to pay attention to the language. A group of 1,600 creeks marched in the summer of 1837 to Mobile Point, I'm assuming that's Alabama, and later to Pass Christian, Mississippi. A Yellow River epidemic killed more than 100 of those Indians while they waited at the two posts. When the time came in the fall to move the survivors to the territory in the west, the U.S. Army contracted 3 steamboats, John Newton, Yazoo, and Mammoth. The creeks were put on board to start their journey up the Mississippi on the night of October 27, 1837. The exact date in October varies in different accounts. Mammoth was a small steamer weighing 135 tons. The human cargo, it was said, was crammed onto the boat without regard to comfort or safety. About 700 creeks managed to get on board. The 3 boats made fairly good time on a cold, rainy night. They steamed north of present-day Baton Rouge, LA, I guess that's Louisiana, without any trouble. The prevailing practice of boats going upriver was to stay in the slack water close to the banks and at the bends, across to far banks where the water moved slowest. Boats moving downriver were expected to follow the river channel out towards the middle, where the current moved fastest. But whether or not Mammoth was where it should have been, or exactly what happened to cause the collision, will probably never be known. It is known that the accident occurred at Prophet Island Bend, today called Prophet Island Bend, and that Mammoth was struck by the sailboat Trenton, which was being towed by the steamboat Warren. The violent impact threw hundreds of unsuspecting creeks into the deep river. Those Indians not immediately swept away struggled desperately for something solid to grab. The men aboard Warren tried to help, as did the men of Yazoo, which had circled around and rushed to the rescue. Those 2 steamers picked up whatever survivors they could reach. The cabin of Mammoth had broken off and floated downstream with a crew about 200 Indians aboard. After floating some distance, the cabin had broke in 2 parts, spilling them into the river. Some of those men were picked up. Exactly how many Indians drowned, uncertain. Some reports said 240, others about 360, while yet another report put the drowned at more than 400. The most commonly quoted estimate, 311 Indians drowned, comes from the book Indian Removal by Grant Foreman. There were also 2 non-Indian lost, the Mammoth barkeeper and a fireman. So I'm not going to read the entire excerpt. However, I'm going to make an attempt to put that in the link below. So just wanted to share a little bit of that story, because I mean, I'm certainly sure there are a lot of brothers and sisters, who were part of the Creek Nation, and probably a lot of them didn't know that story, because I never heard of it until you sent that to me. So I want to thank you for that information as well.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. And I sent you the information about, his name is Alfred Barnett.
Okay.
You don't have to do it right now, but I sent you an email.
Okay.
and it has a link of this particular individual. Um, it has his description of how he went to again went so far as to make sure that he and his family were in their indigenous status,
Right.
and when it has all that information. So maybe when you get a chance, you can put that link in the chat.
Okay.
But I'm also going to follow it up with the information. I'm going to screenshot what I found the same individual, archives.com. on archives right now, and I'm
Okay.
going to send you how they have him listed on the census.
Okay.
And that's one of several stories. I have another individual, again, Barnett. That Barnett is something, that family right there is something else. But this particular Barnett was geared. He was supposed to be the richest Indian that ever lived. They found oil on his land. His name was Jackson Barnett. Now, when they tried to discredit him, they made a notion of saying that his grandmother, he came from a grandmother who was a half. They always try to say slave. They always do that, right? And they said she was a Negro, and that his father was part. I think he was Creek as well. I can't remember. I have to pull it up. But anyway, but once they found out that he had, all his money was in the, all this oil was on his land, then I screenshot everything because like you said, I know you stated people do like to see stuff, and I'm so disappointed that I can't share my screen. But it shows how it states that in the article he went from being, the grandmother and everybody being suspect to, oh, he's a full-blooded Indian, and now he's a full-blooded Indian. So look up his family. That's what I do as well. I don't just go by, when I find an individual, I look them up on the census to see how they're listed, especially if I know that they're quote unquote colored, Negro, black, quote unquote black. Not that I'm calling them that, but I, if I know that's what they're deemed as. So sure enough, as I looked his family up on the census, on, whether it be Ancestry Archives, they have them listed as colored, Negro. But to me, that's just evidence to show who the full-blooded Indians are.
Right. True.
If
What
it's go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, go ahead. That's where the trickery comes in. So
Yeah.
we have to push this to show what they have done, how disingenuous they are. You can't say, you're showing, and on the one hand, they actually shot their own selves in the foot by putting on there that these people are full-blooded Indians, and then maybe they wasn't expecting people to look these people up on the census, that you see them as colored and Negro and all that stuff, but these are full-blooded Indians.
Right.
Native Americans are not full-blooded anything.
Of course. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna pull up the story.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna read some of it just to give the audience just a brief introduction as to what you were talking about. So it says the African Native American Genealogy blog, reflecting the lives of blended families from African and Native American families. That's Wednesday, December 20th, 2017. Monday, Barnett of the Creek Nation. All right, I'm going to read a little bit. From the Creek Nation, the Barnett family is strongly rooted. This family has a rich history going back to the days before the Civil War. Monday Barnett was 49 years of age when he appeared in front of the Dawes Commission in order to apply for enrollment of himself, his son Alfred, and daughter Leoda. Hold on for a second. All right, man. Sister Felicia, I'm actually, I can't pick up that call right now. I'm gonna have to put that link in the description for you below. Okay, I'll call you when I'm finished reading. All right, so 49 years old, commission in order to apply. All right, I read that. Okay, they actually resided in Tallahassee, and they were all members of the Kansas town. At one time, Monday was enslaved by Dick Barnett in the Creek Nation. Let me see the national. It says the National Archives at Fort Worth, Texas, 1868 to 1914. All right. Monday's father was Ketch Barnett, and his mother was Katie. Dick Barnett was the slave holder of Ketch, and mother Katie had been enslaved by Katie Nicole. All of the family members were members of a Kansas town. Although Monday's parents were deceased by the time of the Dawes Commission, they were enumerated on the Dawes roll many years earlier. Although no application jacket exists for the Barnett family, another glimpse at the family history comes through Alfred's interview in the 1930s with the Indian Pioneer Project. What is fascinating is that he also provides a brief sketch about the life of his grandfather, Ketch Barnett, who was a leader during his time. Ketch Barnett, Monday's father, traveled with the delegation of Creeks to Washington to speak on behalf of the Creek freedmen. His associates were Harry Island, Cow Tom, and others well known in 19th century Creek history. And that's a picture of Alfred Barnett right there, Creek freedman. Okay, so as you could see, I mean, come on, man, that's definitely an Aborigine right there.
That's Aboriginal. He looks just like my uncle.
You know what I'm saying?
Just like my uncle. Yeah.
You know, and he was a Creek freedman, so that goes without a doubt. All right. Now they have a few things here, you know, all those little things that I'm looking at. Should I try to read that or no? Not necessarily.
No, you can't. You don't have to. But you know, it just goes into the family members.
Okay.
And you know the name of his wife and his
okay.
You know, like his children and things of that nature. But that's why it's important to read that information as you're doing your research, because you want to line that up on the census. Because I found those same people on the census, and again they have them as black,
right,
colored. And this man went through that great, especially back then. Can you imagine what he went through? And then for him to be disrespected and put on the census as black, Negro, you know, colored, whatever they have, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to continue. It's a short read, so I'm going to just read the entire thing.
Okay.
According to Albert, Ketch was also a Baptist minister and was pastor of Fountain Baptist Church. The only difference is that he refers to a different person as the slaveholder of his grandfather and says that his grandfather was enslaved by Ben Marshall. Fountain Church was a major church on its own in the mid to late 1800s. In one of the pioneer interviews, a sketch was actually made of the original church where Monday's father, Ketch Barnett, was pastor. The sketch is found in the interview with Charles W. Pounds of the Muskogee conducted in April 1937, and also thanks to the interview with grandson Alfred, the actual death date of Ketch Barnett is also revealed. Land allotment records. Thankfully, the land records do exist for the Barnett family, and there we find the words of Alfred as well as his father Monday Barnett. In 1900, Monday appears in front of the commission and he speaks on behalf of himself regarding his land in the Wybach area. A year later, we later see in 1901 where Alfred represents his father with power of attorney. It is not clear if Monday was gravely ill or not. The land that was being allotted was partly timberland and not farm land or prairie land. Hence, Little House on the Prairie, huh? Anyway, it is not known when Monday Barnett passed, but the history is a rich one. From one enrollment card, multiple generations are reflected, and his family with ties to the Creek leader, Ketch Barnett, has a colorful history and past. The history predates removal, and hopefully the Creek legacy is honored and respected by descendants to this day. All right. Somebody said, and then of course, you had the people who commented and said, you know, my name is Roy Barnett Jr. Thank you for this. Ketch Barnett was my great-great-grandfather. These are my ancestors. And all right, so here we go.
Yeah, and I just sent you an email. I hope you can open up the link, but it has on the census how he and his family are. You know, hopefully it'll let you see the whole thing that I'm looking at. But I sent it. I emailed it to you as well.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out right now. Let me just give this sister a call real quick while I pull that up.
Okay.
So let me just go back to the chat. I mean, and if you want to talk while I'm doing that, if you want to talk a little bit, just continue talking about, you know, because like I said, I know you have done extensive research on the whole genealogy aspect, and just giving some people some more insight onto just doing research, because it's important that we really I tell people, man, listen, stop wasting your fiat currency on things that you may want. Okay, focus on your need, and the need right now is to do your genealogy, connect yourself, tie yourself to the land of your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? That is focus. That is key point, because 2020 is going to be serious for a lot of people. All right. So we have enough time to do as much as we can. So go ahead and while I look up that email, and I'm going to call on the sister real quick to see if she's going to get on.
Okay. Well, just piggyback on what he stated, because the 2020 census is coming up, and that's also a part of why I have been consistent with this. It is a sense of urgency in a way, because we know what they're trying to do. They know that they're trying to erase us from history and make it seem like we don't exist, or we've never existed, or that our grandparents were mistaken, that all of us came off of a rinkety dick, slave ship. So, but as again, going back to, I got on this journey just like everybody else, part to find my genealogy, but also I wanted to find the Indian, the African, and the slave. Yet to find that African in my family, but I have found the Indian, and then the only slave that I'm finding, again, was what my grandfather, my fifth great grandfather, who was Caucasian, and he owned slaves. But again, it was only like three, and the names didn't even match up to anybody that that we knew of. They sounded. That was another thing that I sent to Chief. I sent him. I was looking up Smith, Robert Smith, which is also a great grandfather on my father's side. Put him in a search, and I specifically am trying to debunk this. We definitely were slaves. I'm just trying to either verify it or debunk it. So when I put Robert Smith as slave, and I sent this information to Chief as well, it came up with his name, and it had like 40 members, I think, that was in the family, 40 members that lived in the household. I don't know. Chief looked at that. We both, we looked at those names. We looked at Robert Smith, and I kid you not, these names look like Irish people. They don't look, looking at these names, I don't know. They came up, and then so I'm looking at the names. I'm like, this don't sound like these are melanated. These don't sound like, quote unquote black people. So I was at the library when I did this. You can actually print out a blank copy of what it stated on that census. I clicked the blank copy because I wanted to know what is stated at the top, because most of the census have like their name, their color, their race, their age, blah, blah, blah. This one was completely blank, which was different. I said, what? It just only had the names of the people that were in the household, which I thought was very weird. So I clicked on where it says blank sheet, and as soon as I print it out, it states free white, free white slaves, free white women, free white men, number of slaves. I'm like, wait, what? It didn't say anything about color. Didn't say anything about Indian. It didn't say African American. It didn't say Negro. It literally stated white.
Mm-hmm. Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was gonna say, so it lets you know who the freaking slaves were.
Yeah, but that's true though, because at the end of the day, there is detailed record of Caucasian slaves. There is no detailed record of so-called African slaves coming here. No one could show me those records, but I could go to Ellis Island and pull up and show you every Caucasian who came here before the 1800s.
And that goes. Say this, I'm gonna let you go.
Or in the 1800s. No, go ahead.
Exactly, and so oh my gosh, our people, whether they are doing this on purpose or they just doing this under ignorance, that's fighting for, reparations for slaves. These people are going to fight for reparations, and guess who's going to get it? Mm-hmm. Guess who's going to come out the woodworks and say, well, my grandmother came over here on a slave ship, and they're going to all be Caucasian.
Yep.
They're going to be Spaniard. Mm-hmm. They're going to be Chinese. They're going to be Asian. Mm-hmm. They're going to have documented proof, because they know the truth. Exactly. So they can keep fighting for this crap all they want to, these reparations, and guess who's going to get it? Because we don't have any documents of our people being slaves.
Exactly. And man, you're absolutely right, because everything is always piggyback of these so-called black people.
Yep.
Civil rights movements. Okay, they fought for it. Guess who got all the rights? Now you have even the gays using the whole concept of the civil rights to have more rights than y'all. They even got their own flag. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, everything is being piggybacked on the back of so-called black people and African
Yep.
Americans,
Mm-hmm.
right? And y'all gonna push for reparations, like Golden Crown Sparrow just said. And guess who's gonna get it? Because y'all ain't got no records that y'all were slaves. All you did was read books in school, listen to Alex Haley with Roots. You know what I'm saying? And the Out of Africa theory, which is a theory, okay, that has been debunked. So y'all gonna be waking up to a very rude awakening.
Very rude.
And another thing that's gonna happen too as well, even if some of you do get a few $1,000s, now you just put yourself in a status of being an immigrant and they paid you off. Now it's time to go home. Where's home? You don't know. So they're gonna set up something for y'all. So if that's what y'all, hey, like I said, man, do your, all right, do your thing. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Just to go chase a few $1,000s to make yourself an immigrant in the land of your ancestors. That's on you. Let me ask you a quick question. Sister Onyx was asking for the Fold 3. Is it fold3.com, like FOLD, the number 3.com?
That's it.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Onyx. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So at the end of the day, man, we have to be very mindful, all right, of how we move forward. Are we moving forward in truth and light, or are we just moving forward to get a paycheck? You know? And don't get me wrong, some people may have some ancestors that came from Africa, whether it was before slavery or during slavery. That's possible too. I don't know. Okay, but all I'm just saying is don't just take their word for it. Do as much as your research as possible as you can, because 9.5 out of 10 times your ancestors were already here.
They were already here.
You didn't come with a picture.
And for those that are pushing that DNA, oh my gosh. I know you gave a different experience, Chief, because you went through a different resource. But that Ancestry.com or that, what is that, 23andMe, that crap will have you so deep in Africa, you start looking at your parents' side. I mean, I literally was like, I'm going to call my mother, because my mother didn't even realize, according to this DNA test, that she was raised and she was from Africa. So this whole crap about my parents being from Mississippi and from the Carolinas, and according to this stupid DNA test, we're not even from America.
Right.
And so, that's how retarded that test is. It will literally tell you every place else that you are, from, and some, other than the Americas. So I was so mad. I tried to call them because I was piping hot, man. You could see the fume coming out of my ears. So my sister, she ended up calling, and they told her, they said, well, we look at certain areas. And the areas that we look for, there's targeted individuals, and they literally will tell you this. You can call them yourself. They tell you that they only look at certain areas that they do their research on. There's only certain individuals, and the individuals of any certain areas that they tested did not come, that were some quote unquote American or Indian or whatever they're looking for. You're not related to them. And they even and if you look at the chart, if you learn to read the stuff really clearly, you'll see it's just a very small area that they're looking at.
Yeah.
And they're claiming that, so I'm thinking, well, if I have family from the Congos, how come I know this? And they're telling you also that these are recent family members. So once again, not only are you not from the Americas, according to this stupid test, you have recent ancestry. So that means that's a cousin, that's a mother. And I'm like, Teresa, you tell mama and daddy, who both have, heart problems, that they actually were not raised in Mississippi on the farm. They were actually raised, according to this DNA, they were actually from the Congos. Right. So she looked at me and she was like, I'm not going to get hit across my head with a cane for telling my parents, but that's how stupid these tests are. And she wasted her money. I told her not to do it. I was like, do not do it. She chose to do it anyway. She learned the hard way. that is just is very disingenuous, and they tell you that their comeback is we're doing updates daily.
Hmm. But here's the thing too as well.
Mhm.
It lines up with the story of the Native American I spoke to on the phone, with the Cherokee Nation.
Mhm.
Because it's like so-called dark-skinned people, they existed everywhere on Mother Earth.
Right.
But the only place the Most I didn't put them was guess where?
In the Americas.
That's it. It's the same thing. The DNA. There's
Mhm.
those DNA tests the same. It's like y'all was everywhere else,
Mhm.
but when it comes to the American continent, nah,
Mhm.
y'all came on boats.
Oh, we were in there. I mean, I think we even found people in Australia, according to
Yep,
this. I'm like, really? I got
man.
Australia,
It's a
really?
script.
But
It's a
nobody
script.
in the Americas.
It's a
Not in the
script.
Americas at all.
Yep, it's a script. It was all planned.
Yeah, it is.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm still trying to get Sister Felicia to come on, but I appreciate the information. I mean, if you have any more insight, like I said, you could always drop it to the people. But I just wanted to come and give them a little bit, let them know that it's important to do the genealogy research. And could you just, apart from, well, I know we spoke of the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, but could you go ahead and just name some of the sites again in terms of researching genealogy, if you don't mind?
It's family search dot. I think it's familysearch.org is one of them. As far as going directly to the Mormons, that one, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a free account. Family search dot. Let me look on my phone. Hold on.
All right.
I want to say it's familysearch.org. Um, let's see. Yeah, familysearch.org is one website that's free. MyHeritage.com is also free. And these are websites that are, or you can go to the, as a matter of fact, you can go to the Mormon website, or you
Yeah.
can Google Mormon genealogy. I think it's Mormon. Oh gosh, I can do it right now. I'm not going to even guess. Um, and what'll happen is you scroll all the way down, and you just put in the information that you want to find a genealogy library near you, and you put in your zip code, and it'll pull it up.
Yep. I totally agree with
Hmm.
Keisha. I mean, someone had made a comment that said that the DNA ancestry, yeah, is part of a bigger agenda. It is, especially the mainstream ones. Definitely. I totally agree with that. So this is the importance of moving forward because, like I said, man, we're living in such a beautiful time. I mean, we are actually at a junction in our lives where if we go left, man, we could go back another 400 years. All right. But if you go right, then we could get back into the ownership, so to speak, of or the allodial titles of this land. Because this is where or this is our birthright. You feel me?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
they push in family. Listen, man, nothing is a coincidence, right? What is wrong with your current ID that you have as a driver's license when you have always used it to travel or to plane domestically? All of a sudden, it's not good anymore. All of a sudden, you can't use it to go into a federal building just because you have to get a new what's called a real ID, and they have to. Every state have to adopt it by 2020. Do y'all think that's a coincidence? No, that's a new slavery contract. Okay, because supposedly 1619, 400 years, 2019, all right, slavery is over. That's the contract. Okay, you're supposed to be enslaved for 400 years, whether it was voluntary, involuntary, whatever, 400 years. All right, so now they're going through all this year. People try to figure things out, but they say, you know what? In 2019, the contract is up. So what we got to do in 2020, we got to give them a new contract. Now people are getting wise and they're getting smart. Well, not smart, they're becoming more intelligent, right? So what we're gonna do, let us tell them that they cannot use the IDs that they have. It's no good anymore. We're just gonna decide that, you know what? The ID you have is not good. We're gonna give you a real ID. So what you trying to tell me? The one you gave me the last time was fake? And people don't think, people don't ask questions. So if you're giving me one that's real, the one that you gave me before it was fake. So that means that you committed some type of fraud. So you're gonna give me a real ID, but people don't know what it's another contract, family. Another contract. Man, like I said, man, well, we could only drop the information. At the end of the day, you do what you gotta do with it,
Right.
you know. But please, if you have anything else to add, great. That would be great. If not, then I do want to thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure. I'm certainly sure it was a class. You know what I mean?
It definitely is. And I was, I was, when you go to those powwows, although I know why you go, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I know that you're doing it for the good of our people. And
Mm-hmm.
it showed that we need to step up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, when I see that rhythmless, that that whatever they, however they sing, and that whatever they call it, chanting, or it's just it actually almost brings tears to my eyes because I know how gifted our people are, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that people would have came here from another continent to
To
listen to
live.
that crap, to listen to people supposedly sing like that, and to watch people. They might as well just stay over there where they were at. They got those Africans over there that could sing and dance. I mean, why would you come over here,
Right.
you know, to see people dressing up like chickens, and looking like, a costume, just ridiculous. And it's, as coming from a musically gifted family, it just really, really gets under my skin. It almost brings tears to my
Mm-hmm.
eyes. And it shows to me, I know what they're doing, what they think they're doing, but to me, they're mocking us. It's a mockery.
Yeah.
There is no way the indigenous Aboriginal people, on the continent, on the planet, would look and sing and dance like that. There's no way. And it's so disrespectful to our ancestors, you
Yeah.
know,
We,
to even see that mess going on. But and I agree, we do need to step up,
yeah. We
and
we just got too much soul, man. Because, like I said,
mhm,
this and like you said, I've said it before. The reason why I go because
mhm,
I want to be able to bring that to light. Because a lot of poor people haven't even been to a powwow because they don't see the connection. All right, that for that type of ceremony. All right,
mhm,
not knowing that's part of our culture. That's something that we did. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm going to these events to show, all right, what we should be doing. But it
right,
really it tears me up inside at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, I honestly, when I go, I have a good time because
mhm,
I go knowing that I'm there to honor my ancestors and not go there to get mad. And you feel what I'm saying? I don't go there with that type of energy. I
mhm,
know what they're doing, I know what they did, but still I'm going standing there representing the millions of my ancestors and each and every one of my brothers and sisters who can't make it, you know what I mean, or don't know that
right.
the powwows that was our thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do it, and also to show that, like you said, we got to step up because
Mhm.
what is the point of complaining about something? No, let us stop complaining. All right, nobody's preventing us from doing it. We just choose not to. We don't want that. We just did complaining.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for the day you go up there and you start doing your hey ya, and we go hey
You know,
ya.
scream.
We come in and start harmonizing with you, and our indigenous men and women start doing their little dancing and showing how the real Indians, how they celebrate. How they honor their ancestors. This right here. We even if we just come, even if we just stand there, I think that's intimidation right there.
Mhm.
Even if we don't do anything else but just walk around and mingle with the people, and just stand there and show, look, the gig is up. Your days are numbered.
And
You
you
know.
and
Hmm.
trust me, man, it's a monopoly because even all the vendors are not real Indians. We are not real American Indians. And even when they see me, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like, like, if you, okay, take for instance, if we all Indians and you see another Indian, right?
Hmm.
Would you acknowledge and say what's up? Hey brother, how you doing? Or
Exactly.
acknowledge? They don't even do that. They pass straight. So I know they know and they feel uncomfortable when they see us, even if they have one or two people in those so-called in those nations.
Hmm.
The problem is those people in those nations that look like us, they think they're Indians because of these people, not realizing that these people are Indians because of them. You see what I'm saying?
Amazing.
So now they
Amazing.
feel like these people are doing them favors, and that's the
Amazing.
problem. So let me ask you a question. Can you see my screen?
No, give me 1 minute. Hold on. I gotta go back to YouTube. Oh, I can't see your screen for some
You
reason.
can't see. Well, you'll probably hear it, but
Okay.
I want to ask the audience, right?
Oh, I can see it now.
Where is the soul in this? Just listen to this real quick.
Okay. Oh my God.
Where's the soul in that? You know what I'm saying? Where's the soul in that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I hear.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be mean, man. It's like,
Let me take these earplugs off.
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
She
and
can't stand you right now. Oh my God, my
you
ears.
know, and the funny thing is, they always want to come at us. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Right.
Don't come at us when y'all do powwows and that's how you sound.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all in pain and somebody beating y'all, man. Come on, man. We got soul. And I'm just speaking the truth. I mean, who want to take offense to it? It is what it is.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get you. I can't hear anything you said because my eardrums are gone. Just want to let you know. My eardrums are gone.
You know, man, listen, man. You know,
All right,
but
Chief.
we as a people, man, honestly, man, we gotta start taking responsibility.
Right.
Like for real. And I'm gonna say it again. Honestly,
Mm.
I'm not mad at these people. I'm not mad at them. I'm bothered by it, but I'm not mad. And I'll tell you why I'm not mad, because it's the same thing like when you have abandoned property. If nobody's claiming the land, nobody's tilling the land, then that means it's what? It's there for the taking. It's the same thing. All right. They spread the rumors that we became extinct. All right. That all the Indians, or the majority of the Indians, died from smallpox. Well, I have a question to ask. How come smallpox ain't killing us today? I mean, there
Thank
is
you.
so many other more lethal diseases, and it's not killing us. When we had soul, right? We
Right.
still got soul, but what they have to do? They have to give us disco to disconnect us from our soul. When they gave us disco, what came in? Crack, cocaine, AIDS, all that came in, right? Meth, heroin, all that came in, right? Now, if
Right.
AIDS didn't kill us, how the hell could smallpox kill us? You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this: you made us extinct on paper. That's what they did. They made us extinct on paper. And what they had to do, create organizations, they had to create new nations and new tribes on paper. That's what they had to do. So they created these organizations that only exist on paper. So these people, there is no soul. There's no love in it. It's all for commercial purposes. That's it.
Everything that they do. I went to go see Lion King today, and I still haven't even seen, what's that movie that came out last year that they were making a big thing about, I don't know, that movie that came out, Marvels, with the melanated people playing like they were from Africa. I can't
So
even
you
name
talking
that movie.
about Wakanda, something like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that one. I still haven't, because I refuse to keep, allowing my children to believe that narrative. But I
Mm,
went to go see The Lion King today,
mm,
and I remember when I saw it 25 years ago. My daughter was what, basically like 5,
mm,
and I went to the movies, and I'm the one that will cry and scream and act a fool in the movie theater.
mm.
And when Mufasa died, so I was like, oh, I went to go see it this time because I wanted to have a different appreciation for the movie,
Mm,
not because of the African thing, because I know that's not our culture.
mm.
But this time when I cried, I did cry when I saw the movie, but it was a different type of. I felt like it hurts
Mm,
to make us believe that we all came from Africa. And for them to tell their great stories, and they have those narratives of the lions, and they're using our American people, James Earl Jones, who's an American from Jamaica, from the islands. We have Beyonce playing, Alfred Woodard, and all these different people that are from this continent. For that dollar, and to make, but it's unfair to us as the Americans, because we lost everything. They took everything from us. At least the quote unquote Africans, and I know that's not their real name, but they have their heritage, they have their traditions, they have their
language,
tribal names, they have their languages, everything. We don't have anything.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. You know why? Because that's one of the things they always coming at us with. Oh, well, what's your language? How come you don't have your language? Y'all thieves, y'all know why we don't have our language.
Exactly.
They always ask that. Oh, well, I got my culture. I got my language. Yeah, obviously, because y'all have the colonizers take it from us.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they always use it. No matter when you box them in a corner and they have to speak the truth that they came from dark-skinned people, then they divert. Oh, well, you don't have your language. I got my language. Yeah, obviously, because y'all took it from us.
But you know what? That's not even true. When I say about they have their language, a lot of their languages, and if you ever have been around Filipinos, and I say that because of the fact of the Filipino, their language is Asian, or what we would consider like Chinese, Japanese. It's a mixture of Asian, it's a mixture of Spanish, and it's a mixture of European. So when you go to when you start paying attention and listening to these people speaking their quote unquote indigenous language, or they have their language, they're speaking the same language that these Koreans and these Filipinos are speaking. They're lying. See, we don't know what they're speaking because we don't know their language, but you never know who you may have around you. This happened to my niece one time. She went and got her hair braided, and she went to an African braid shop, and they were speaking Swahili, which is loosely is French. So they're speaking this language and not knowing that my niece, who was only like 16 at the time, she speaks fluent French. So, you never know who you may, and it's good to teach your young people. Like now, I make sure my children learn different languages. My other niece, she's the one I showed you, the one that draws, she speaks Japanese. So I want to bring her in the mix. One day I'm going to have her with me, and we're going to go see some of these Native Americans. And I want her to pick up on what they're saying, because I guarantee you they're speaking their language from their country. They're not speaking our ancestors. That's not our ancestors' language. That's their language. They brought that crap over here, and they're pretending like these are your ancestors.
Exactly.
These are that mixture of that same. Especially if you get around Filipino, you could hear it. You know it. You may not know what they're saying, but you know it when you hear it. You know the dialect, you know the tone, and exactly. It's the same thing.
Right. That's a good point. And also, Furita, Aborigine, he said, how come Africans don't have a smallpox epidemic if they were enslaved by the Europeans? Things that make you go, that's true. We never heard of, because the Africans were also enslaved by the Europeans on the continent of Africa. All right. How come they never had a smallpox epidemic? And hey, that's a great point.
That is a good point.
I never thought about that.
That is an excellent point.
True. Excellent point. You know what I mean? So again, man, it's just a story. Now, don't get me wrong, right? And I'm gonna continue to say this because I have to stand on truth and what I bring on this platform, right? As melanated people, all right, across the earth, all right, we are going through the same perils, okay? We are all going through the same genocide, all right? And there are Caucasian people as well that are going through the same genocide, because it's about the have against the have now.
Right.
The only problem is, Aboriginal people, they have certain claims that they could make. All right. So it seems that we are facing the genocide in its brutal form. So that's not just here in the Americas. It's also in Africa. It's also in Asia. When you go look at the original Asians, we know they was dark skinned, but where they at? I don't know where they at, but I know they're there. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the original Mexicans, I don't see them anymore, but I know they're there. They call them nowadays Afro-Mexicans. You see what I'm saying? So they starting to play the same game with those Mexicans they played with us here on the mainland. At one point we were Afro Americans.
Exactly. It was not African, and they always try to misquote
Exactly.
Malcolm X and saying Afro. He did not. He said Afro, AFR, because we people with the fros,
Mhm.
Afros. They didn't say anything about African American. That crap didn't come in until um, Jesse Jackson. And I remember distinctly when he said it because I remember I was standing in the kitchen with my mother. I was
Mm.
about, I was a teenager, and I looked. I was like, "Mom, we African American." She was like, "I don't know what that mess means." You know, she just shook her head. And but we should have. See, that's our problem. We're too passive. The
Mm.
very minute he said that, we should have been marching. We should have ran up to Washington D.C. and put in, "How dare you say that? We allow a lot of stuff that has happened to us. We have allowed it to happen.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
never ran a campaign. They never came by us and asked us, "Is it okay that we start calling you African American?" When I know me personally, was watching TV. I think Jesse Jackson was running for president,
Mm.
and he said something about African Americans. That was the first time I ever heard that in my life. I never heard that, and that was like late 87. It was the late 80s.
Oh.
So, and we just went step, and like my mother just laughed and shook her head, like, "This is so stupid."
Mm.
That's what we do. We just like, "Oh, these people so silly," and they're sitting up there passing laws, and they're sitting up there doing stuff that meant something at that time. That should have been like, ding, 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 ding. We
Mhm.
should have gotten together collectively and not allowed that to happen. But that's our fault.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I tell folks,
Yeah.
we have to take some type of responsibility for a lot of what we are going through. Because how long are we going to continue to sing the song of being Black and African American and realizing that, man, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again, getting a
Yeah.
different result. You know what I mean? So all that stuff is pointless. But a thought just came to mind, and I'm actually just going to flow with it. And I'm going to look up Mongolian powwows. Let me see what's going to come up.
I sent you a link. I sent you one time. I put it in one of the videos you put. You'll be surprised. It's
Okay, here we go. Right
Mhm.
here, what I say. I just put in not American Indian or Native American. I said what? Mongolian powwows. And guess what's coming up? Third
Okay.
annual Nation Student Powwow 2019.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Powwow 2018, balancing two worlds, Washington. So let us take a look at the Mongolian powwows.
I'm taking these earplugs out. Go
Yeah, let's
ahead.
click on that real quick. And again, I'm not trying to be fictitious, man. I'm just showing people that those are the same people. Okay, they're the same people. Let me share my screen real quick. I put in Mongolian powwow, not Native American, not American Indian. Okay, so let me ask y'all a question, right? Obviously, Google knows something a lot of people don't know. Okay, because I didn't put in Native American. I want it to be fair. Okay, I didn't put in American Indian. I put Mongolian powwow. Okay, let me just go again. Go back here. So how are you gonna tell me we're making this thing up? If Google know it, here we go. I mean, it doesn't. Mongolian powwow. Look what came up. Let's click another one. Powwow 2018. Mongolian powwow.
Oh God.
Come on, come on, family. Those are the same people. How are you gonna convince me those are not Siberians? Those are not Asians. How are you gonna convince me that? Huh? And I put it in Google. I said Mongolian powwows. I was trying to be fair. I didn't say Native American. I didn't say American Indian. So if they're the same people, man, like, why can't some of you see that? Like, I mean, my people. I mean, it don't take a lot of convincing. It really don't. All you gotta do is just open up your eyes and see. Okay, stop listening to all these politicians and these people that's in so-called power pushing Black and African American on you, because they're getting the bag, they're getting paid. Okay, they're getting paid to mislead you, and that's facts.
And they love to pretend to be us. I went to the library, and I'm always sending you something. So just when you get a chance, check your email. It's gonna be full of stuff.
Mm.
But one book that I picked up, it was called The Jazz Age, the 20s, right?
Mm.
So when you think of the Jazz Age, you think of what? You think of Cab Calloway. You think of, we're talking about the 20s. So we're thinking, and me, I'm thinking about Charlie Parker. I'm thinking about I'm not Nate Tatum. What's his name? Art Tatum. Musicians from the 20s and that era. And I go through this book, and I kid you not, 80 to 90% of the people, I would say about 95% of this people in this book are non-melanated people.
Mm.
And I remember 20 something years ago watching a documentary on PBS, and they were talking about, was jazz, who was responsible for creating jazz. And it was a big argument. I couldn't believe. I'm like, well, everybody knows that, quote unquote black people started jazz. Why is that an argument?
Right.
Well, come to find out that the small hats, I won't say who they are taking credit for the jazz. And these are the same people. Let me go back to your Native Americans. The people that are getting that money is not these Asian looking people and not these Mexican looking people. It's those small hats. They are at the top of the chain and everything. So I'm saying that to say this: they are notorious for stealing our heritage.
Right.
And if we keep being quiet, they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
jazz age is our people. That's our music. 90% of this book has Caucasians in it.
Yeah.
They didn't create jazz.
And
They didn't create rock. They didn't create
yeah,
country. They didn't create
exactly.
there's nothing
None of
that
that.
they created. Nothing.
Yeah. You're right. And Sister Mama Lioness just sent me to check out Aztec Powwow. So I just put in Aztec Powwow. Let's click on that again.
Okay.
Aztec Powwow. Let's see what we get. And thanks for that, Mama Lioness. Aztec Powwow.
So Lit Mobile just sent me this solar wireless battery pack. I'm excited. Let's see what's inside. I really like the build.
All right, here we go. Aztec Powwow. All right, this one looked more like a ceremonial, but look, that looked like the crib dance if you ask me. Come on, man, these people just beat everything from us, man. Like, looked like he was doing the crib dance. I mean, look at this. Look, West Side. I mean, come on, man. Stop, man. Like, for real. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. These rhythmless, soulless beings. I don't know what they are.
Up, man, and we have to keep exposing these people, man.
Yeah.
We have to keep exposing these people. Sister Leah, you already know how you could join the bill. You already know how it is.
I'm gonna drop off, so let somebody else.
No, I mean, come on, you could still be on. It doesn't matter. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But they could still come on and you're still on. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, unless you gotta go, it's cool. But Mama Lioness, Sister Leah, lovely. I mean, what it is. Y'all know the link is in the chat. I mean, I don't know why Sister Felicia can't click on it and come on today, but I wish she could, because the thing is with Sister Felicia, her story is her grandmother, on her grandmother's birth certificate, they have her identified as white, and her grandmother is dark as me. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
we can't be making these things up. You know what I mean? For real.
It's a status, and I'm starting to think, even with this Indian and Negro, I don't know. I try to meditate, and I was thinking about the Indian and the Negro, and there was an article that I read, and it was talking about how this guy was so disgusted that the uh, the Negro was allowed to be around the Indians and the whites, and I don't know. I just felt like I was trying to use my third eye and read into that, and I'm starting to think that, well, actually, it sort of goes back to what you were talking about earlier.
Mm,
The Indian became a Negro when the Negro decided to take on not just not just citizenship, but I think it also had to do with religion.
hmm hmm
I think it had to do with whether you were Christianized or, because that was the predominant, and it still is a predominant religion here in the Americas.
mm,
But it really, I'm really starting to think that Indian to Negro to colored to had to do not just with citizenship,
mm.
but also had to do with religion.
Well, yeah,
If you took their religion, then you became a Negro.
yeah. hmm
And
Because that's where you're absolutely right. That's
mhm.
that was because the church was actually before I even say that, Sister Felicia corrected me on that. It wasn't her grandmother, it was her mother.
Oh,
Yeah, on my mother in 1955. So if her mother was literally just in 1955, which is recently, and on her birth certificate it said white. So I'm just saying, how do you explain stuff like that? But obviously she's not Caucasian. You see what I'm saying? So we have to know those things, statuses. Obviously, her mother was free, and maybe on her grandmother or great grandmother somewhere they probably had white as well. Who knows how that happened? But Golden Crumbs Power, just to build on what you were talking about. What was that again?
about the religion and the Indian and yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the church was like honey. All right. If you want to catch bees, what you're gonna do? You're gonna put honey, right?
Right.
So they know that our people always gathered together. We drummed. And let me just make this declaration. Well, I'm not going to say it's a declaration, but I just want to make a statement that a lot of people are always associating the drums. And let me just, before I even say that, let me make my disclaimer. I always have to say I have nothing against Asians. I have nothing against Europeans. I have nothing against Africans. Okay. But I have to make sure that our story is told. And that's what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, we all got to unite. All melanated people, all people that's being oppressed, whether you're heavy melanated or not. Okay. The have is always the have against the have-nots. And I'm going to continue to stand on that. But it's being promoted as so-called black and white because you don't see Caucasians having these problems. You don't see anybody in the middle having these problems. How come Arabs ain't having it? And I've said that before. Arabs are the so-called most feared because they are considered terrorists. Unfortunately, that's the way they're looked upon. But they hurt us more than the Arabs. So obviously, something is not adding up. Arabs got all the gas stations, okay? And Indians, the East Indians, Arab got all the corner stores. They get loans. How come you can't get loans? But yes, still Arabs are terrorists, right? That's what they're telling you. So everything is about propaganda. Okay, it's an extreme. Nobody in the middle is going through anything. Okay, it's always black versus white. That's what
Yep.
they're pushing. You feel what I'm saying? So coming back
Exactly.
to the whole church thing, the whole church thing is a bait because they know that our people were spiritual people and we use the drums. And that's where I'm going with that. I'm tired of our people thinking that the drums came from Africa. Y'all got to stop with the mess, man. You see, y'all giving everybody else all the credit that our ancestors deserved. You feel me? The truth of the matter is we gave Africa more than Africa gave us. And I'm going to stand on that.
And we still giving them more. They ain't giving us nothing but problems.
Right now. Because we're not living here to go over there for opportunities.
No.
They're coming here for opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? If you want a better life for your family, then you know what? Wherever you got to go, make it happen. All right? But don't look down on the people that you're coming to, all right, and taking everything from them to better yourself and your people. And you're gonna look down on us. No, don't do that. You feel me?
I'm telling you, my ex, he was a professional drummer, and he used to tour around the world. He toured around the world, and he specifically went to Africa in the 70s and late 70s. No, I'm sorry, early 80s, and he was teaching them how to play. Wait, what? What do you mean you're teaching them how to play?
Right.
I remember he told me that story, and at the time I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't wrap my brain around it. He was teaching them how to play, the drums in a correct, in a, I don't know if it was just a different, not that they couldn't play, but they didn't know how to play like him.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why would you teach the Africans how to play? I thought that's what a drum, and I remember him telling me this story. I remember him telling me so many stories. It's like making sense now. He went to Mexico, and I remember I said, well, how was Mexico? And he was talking about how well the people treated him. But one thing that bothered him, that puzzled him, and this was in 2005 or 6, I think it was. He said, they have a lot of little statuettes of Mary and the baby Jesus, and I said, okay. I said, well, they have that, it's predominantly Catholic. And he said, but the strange thing is they're all black. And I was like, what's black? He said the little baby statue. He said the statues of the baby Jesus and Mary. He said most of the statues, they're black people, and that's what they have in their houses, and that's what. I was like, really? That's so, just not putting two and two together. That's because they know they know the truth. They come over here and act brand new all they want to. They can come over here and act dumb.
That's a fact.
And we know, but they know the truth. They know the truth.
Santa Maria, the original, all those are dark-skinned people.
Exactly.
They know that for a fact. And somebody said, well, lovely. I mean, I know you always get on, and I know you with us in spirit. So, Mama Lioness, it's all good. It's all good, sis. I think, we definitely made a point with that. The boy said, white is a status that means nobility. Yes, like I said, it's first-class citizens. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily sovereigns of the land, but it's first-class citizens because we are the true sovereigns of the land. So, that kind of like is a wordplay as well. Red Wolf asked, what are your thoughts on the United Nations indigenous rights? My thoughts on that is just like American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, is that it is not legally binding. However, you could make it legally binding when you attach the USC codes with it. All right. So when you combine all those two with some executive orders in 1983, Clinton signed an executive order that if anyone who violates human rights, all right, they will be prosecuted. Also, you have, like I said, USC codes, all right, United States codes that speaks on genocide and that speaks on rights and deprivation of rights and color of law of all that. That once you tie that to UNDRIP and you tie that to the American Declaration, now it becomes a legally binding package. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to do a video on that to break all that down for you guys. So definitely that's a powerful document there as well. All right. Sister Felicia said, yes, I believe it was more Fear Clan, the Asian against the dark. Yeah, I mean, yes, no matter where we go, it has always been the lighter versus the darker. You see what I'm saying? The fairer versus the darker. So everything is promoting as dealing with skin. But to underlie everything, it's really not about skin, fam. It's not about it. It's about the have versus the have-nots. You did, all right? Let me see. The Black Madonna is all over the world. Yes, indeed. The so-called Black Madonna is all over the world. The Pope even worships the so-called Black Madonna. So they know the deal, man. They know that, Mother God is a dark-skinned woman. They know that energy. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we know the truth. Sister Leah said, I'm trying to join, but having issues. For some reason, yeah, Sister Felicia is having issues as well. I have no idea what's going on, family.
I'm going to release the line and, because I do have to go. But
okay, cool.
It's definitely been my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody in the chat.
No doubt.
I'll join you in the chat a little later on. But thanks again, Chief.
I appreciate you. Thank you for giving your input, and then I'm certainly sure, like I said, we'll have you on again.
All right.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you. All right. So we coming up to about 2 hours. We'll probably do like another half an hour. Like I said, if any of the sisters, I'm gonna put the link in the chat again. So if anybody could, like I said, any one of the sisters who want to come on, you're able to come on. Just click on it. I don't know why it's giving y'all an issue. Let me go to share again and see if I could get that link. Copy. And I'm gonna put it again. Mama Lioness and Sister Leah and Sister Felicia. I just put two links back to back. Let's see if either one of them, it's the same link, but let's see if it's gonna work. It looked like Golden Crown Sparrow is still on because I'm getting a little feedback. You know what? Let me all right, here we go. Here we go. Let me eject all right, I see Mama Lioness. I see we still got the feedback on your end.
I know, I can't. This is a shame. I don't understand why. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is.
Do you have speakers? Like,
maybe I need to plug in my mic, my external mic. Hold on.
okay. Do you have speakers?
Like external speakers.
Okay, yeah.
How's this? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get my earphone.
Okay.
Where's my ear?
All right, we got Mama Lioness on the build. Hopefully, Sister Leah could chime in and Sister Felicia could chime in.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's all right. Take your time, Mama Lioness. Yes, greeting my sister, greeting my sister. How you feeling today?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
No feedback.
No feedback.
Okay. Well, we finally figured it
Yeah,
out.
we figured it out. So how you been? How you been?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm feeling better.
That's
I caught a little bug when I went up to New York for about 4 days up in Queens and Brooklyn. And I come back with a fever and all kind of things. But today, even though I'm a little short of breath, I do feel better than the past few days.
okay.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I was a little reluctant, because I do have a short of breath.
Okay.
Oh, here come the feedback. You hear it?
No, I can't. You just fine. I can't hear any feedback, so it's working fine to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear it in through my
Your headphones.
phones. Yeah, my headphones. But I'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the subject matter today, it was actually brought to my attention today in reference to the census. Yes, so I'm glad. Oh, was this the sister you were waiting on?
Well, one of them, Sister Leah made it on. Sister Felicia still haven't made it on just yet.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you had somebody else lined up to speak before I will share one of my poetries with the family.
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead. We would love to hear that. Definitely looking forward to that. The one you gave before was powerful.
Oh, okay.
All right. So before you start, let me just have Sister Leah say hi to everybody. Sister Leah, how you doing?
Greetings. Hi, everybody. I'm out doing the golfing event with my family, so that's why I see all the background noise. But I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Man, we're doing great. We're doing great, and I'm happy at least you get a chance to at least come say hi. That's a beautiful place. So I hope you guys are having a great time.
Yeah, we are. We're enjoying each other's company. I'm kind of lost trying to find a restroom somewhere that's a little bit less noisy, so you all can hear me.
All right. Yeah, we could hear you.
Okay, great.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, no doubt. So we're gonna Mama Lioness got a poem for us this evening, so we're gonna let her rock. The last one,
Okay.
she shut down the internet with that one. So let's
I know. I know. Oh my God, that was a godsend to us.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Mama Lioness, go ahead, do your thing, do your thing. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, I actually have two to choose from,
Mm,
but one is shorter than the other. So, for the sake of time,
mm,
I'll do the short one. And this is in honor of the matriarchs.
mm.
Basically, I title it as "Hey First Nation Woman" with the M. Okay. No, actually, I wasn't asking. I think that was the feedback.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one is titled Hey First Nation Woman in honor of our matriarchs. Okay, so hey, First Nation woman, do you know who you are? Who you really are? The mother of all nations, near and far. Your mere presence of your resilience astounds your enemies of our goddess brilliance. No longer be of the patriarchal dominant concealment. We are the tree of life and reproduction, bearing fruit of enlightenment, discernment, and intelligence. Will no longer be of the colonizers and their patriarchal, dominant sodomite concealment. Hey, First Nations woman, wisdom keeper, do you know we can be whatever we want to be with the mindset of a chief or a mindset of a queen or a mindset of a wisdom speaker and gatekeepers, eternally unseen except by the eyes of the redeemed, extremely unnoticed to keep us focused, to bruise the head of the serpent without deferment, rather in a village or in a palace. If we think and be and pursue, we can overcome our enemy's malice, uproot in all discrepancies, form our genuine birthright throne of sovereignty. Hey, Face Nation woman, gatekeepers, do you know we can be and learn and earn a heavenly goddess reputation in exchange of a ghetto plantation mentality or a native reservation limit abilities among Earth's sacred confrontations against circulate colonizations? If we return to our first woman's ethnic concerns, we will prosper intellectualization over provocation that affects all that is birthed among the colonized nations and their indoctrination of the purification of our first nations. Hey, First Nation womans, our cosmic reflection, womb portal of life virtuous yearns, authorize us to discern and stand firm for our virtuous woman throne return. Birthing a star child is not easy. To reestablish this divine throne epitome is not established, nor can it reign it by being freaky and twerk video sleazy. To establish a reality of divine feminine responsibility and accountabilities. It is our electrifying Sankofa, Wakanda, Ubuntu mentalities of our unique essence of a rose risen from concrete, filled with divine wisdom personalities and mentalities, in pursuit for formalities, a positive way of thinking. Can we give us a new way of rapping, clapping, and singing, not to forget our power ways of thinking and dancing, keeping it significant and genuine for our snap finger millennium generations. Hey, first woman nations, Do you know we are strong, bearing the weight of our enemies' history scorn? Do you know we are the missing link and the cornerstone that the patriarch male sodomites and dominant society builders rejected because we are the true and wise fruit of the cosmic elected? Therefore, hey, First Nation woman, be what we are created to be, and learn and earn and discern what we must have for concerns. Do what we can do in this present time of eternity, and take advantage of this open door opportunity, creating universal lioness and eagle prize unity, hearing and understanding, seeing and perceiving the bound of sisterhood securities for our victories over gender war obscenities and atrocities. We must strive for a divine destiny and purified legacy, made in the image and reflection of the cosmic womb, the divine creatrix, spirit and perfection activity, leaving the worship to our cosmic universal room as flawless, the pure essence of our epitome of motherhood securities. We are a blessing to all, and all are a blessing unto us, revealing and uprooting all the disagreeable woman pretender fools and their over dramatization of feminine elevation. Yet the greatest woman attribute is birthing the stool of the birthing stool. For we are the First Nation woman, is naturally a loving wisdom, a serene and poised and confident, calm and resilient and intelligent. We are the elect divine presence of the absolute, sent to eliminate disputes. Through our divine strategic presence is deserving a warrior salute. Our love and wisdom and truth tenacity is triumphant as the reality of our morality pursuit. Yes, the manifestation of reflection for perfection of a life pursuit without strife, but for a joyful life, fit to eliminate the adversary's agenda of deliberate lands laying destitute, to eliminate natural fruit, replaced with GMO prostitutes, as well as their Sophia artificial intelligence that has no divine relevance, created and pursued by men for perverted phallic relationships, manifesting their twisted evil within. This mind and body and soul shall robotically reap what they sow to their end. So hey, first woman, stay strong and of good courage, and take this opportunity to get our house in order, uprooting all disorder. As a queen, as a chief, as an empress, as the divine mother chief, sitting in a village or in a palace, as a goddess mind of divine consciousness, a lady implementing integrity and righteousness, an empress in wisdom, sincerity, a woman in spirit and in truth, living in a redefined mind and works of a lioness and eagle tribes of the patriotical jungle we shall overthrow and hide. And our queen of the bush have rectified our intolerance of a queen of the apocalypse rivalry. No more dictated through the colonizer's mind of fake diplomacy and democracy, for the demise of feminine sagacity. True trinity of the mother, father, and child, including our coat of armor, lioness, and eagle, warrior of the wild, over the beast of the wild, the divine of the lord of the jungle, and the queen of the bush, will bruise to smash the head of the serpent seed of the Sodom and Gomorrah perverted atrocities. Therefore, like a diamond, the most richest and solid of all, may you now rise up, the first woman nation, from their art fall. If this is not your will to fulfill, there is no choice like the red and blue matrix pill. They have no fantasy of saving deals, only the divine warrior's voice and zeal, The throne, the Catholic throne, no longer our power concealed, uprooting injustice and overthrowing hypocrisy, casting our religions and dogmas. Time to release the captives from the adversary's agenda thrill deals. Therefore, it's time to get our house in order as wisdom keepers and gatekeepers, mind of a virtuous woman, intellect. Like the Cherokee says, our greatest job is to lead a man to his source. And the man is to make sure she's protected, that she may walk upon the earth and do her will. Of strategic to break the yoke of atrocities and the serpent neck against a kind of man philosophies until our great awakening and uprising of clown chakra minds from mud huts and reservations, political concentrations. Rise up from the ghetto insecurity mentalities and refugee camps formalities unto a justice and redemption state of mind, absent of callousness and bordered enslavement. We can restore the reality of morality, deserving salute, and this restoration, redemption pursuit, as a united diaspora nation, from the motherland to distant sounds, free from a fascist divide and conquer aggression and exploitation, to pursue our ancestral cultural elevation without validation from descendant minds of demoralization and denigration and racial alienization, threats and manipulation and depopulation. So it is time for our divine manifestation of our divine redemption, reparations, and restoration out of the adversary's unorthodox domination. But we now rise up for purification and exaltation of our new millennium generation. So now we put our left foot forward as the continuation of our lineage in the line with our divine feminine hearts, emotions, and enemy fiery darts we shall devour. Starting with the status of the woman at her throne, starts in her home, mind of the dome, the stepping stone to no longer condone pillage among our renewed lioness and eagle pride villages. As a nation to raise a child to bear the coat armor over the man beast of the wild. So we rise with strength. We rise to meet and groom the minds of the elect. We rise to hunt and devour our enemies' lives. We rise and gather the young and the feeble knees to safety. We rise to walk among the lions and soar among the eagles. We rise to confront our enemies. And when they hear us roar and soar, they will flee back to the grave caves of their ancestry, antiquity, as we reign for eternity of the monarch and matriarchs of integrity, with our queen and our king representing all aboard will roar.
Mm. Thank you. That was beautiful. All right. Hey, that was a beautiful piece once again by Mama Lioness. Thank you for that. Sister Leo, go ahead.
Well, I can't come up behind that one because that was it was awesome. You know what you say, something like that. But wow, enough said. You know, beautiful. You said
Yeah.
it. There it is. Yeah.
Indeed, man. And like I said, man, this is what this is all about. Just dropping knowledge. Giving our women, our mamas, our aunties. You know what I'm saying? The matriarch, giving them a platform and letting their voice be heard. You know what I'm saying? Shaking the vibrations of Mother Earth. Like you said, Mama Lana said, rah. It's time to raw. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. There you go. There you go, Mama Lioness. There you go. All right.
Yeah, it surprised me the first time I realized that was in me because I do a radio program on every Tuesdays. And the first time I ever did a radio program, I asked for, I think it was like 4 or 5 brothers. I wanted them to come down and do a chant for me. And part at the end of the chant, they were supposed to roar like lions, right? So I get there and I'm waiting like for about a half hour and nobody show up. So I was like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? Because the person in the booth was waiting to record my intro.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden the divine spirit spoke through my mouth and she told me, you do it.
Right. That's
I
what
was
it is.
like, excuse me. I said, I have at the end for some men to roar like a lion, because I wanted to sound like a multitude, like soldiers, and the divine spirit told me to do it. So I said, okay. So I went to the guy and I asked him, I said, can you make one voice sound like a multitude? He said, yeah, I can do whatever it is you want. I said, okay, because nobody showed up. So I'm going to have to go in here and do my chant myself. And then I'm just going to have to trust in you to be able to work some magic, right?
Right.
So I get in there. And then at the very end, I had to do this roar. And it felt like my body kind of like bent over. And all of a sudden, this roar that it don't even sound like the one that I've been doing. It was just so deep and so powerful. When I turned around to the guy to make sure he caught it, he wasn't in the booth. And I'm like, he was there when we was recording, but then when I turned around to look to see like he got it, he wasn't there. So I had to leave out to go check and see where he was. So when I went down the hall, he wasn't there. Then I come out and I go into the front lobby. He's standing all the way around the corner and he got his head down and he's got one foot up against the wall and he's standing there with his hand on his knee and he has bent up against the back of him. And I said, what are you doing out here? I was in there trying to record and he put up his hand. He said, don't talk to me. He said, don't talk to me. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, don't talk to me. And he said, you scared he said the S-H-I-T word. He said, you scared the out of me. He said, don't you tell nobody that was you. And he said, I don't have to do anything to what I just heard in here. So he took me back in there and he played it back and I was like, wow. So that's where it actually started. So it's not something that I play with and I run around doing. It would have to be something that the divine spirit just tells me to do.
Right.
But like I said, I have like some issue.
Yeah.
Well, I have asthma, but I still have like this issue that's been happening. But I'm just grateful that whatever the divine spirit puts in us in order to bring to the table to contribute to our reparations, restoration, and redemption, that we utilize it effectively. So
Absolutely. And what I'll do is I will send you the information for our master herbalist so that you could talk to him and see what he could recommend for you. I'll send you that information. All right.
Yeah, I actually have a herbalist. I just received a package of like about 8 items.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, and it comes straight from the UK, but they get their herbs straight from different parts of Africa and some other places. But at the same time, it's like these are some herbs that I use and they are doing miracles already because I'm not quick to take medications, even though I wound up in the emergency room. And they know me that whenever they give me a diagnosis, they know I'm going to go home and check out something natural for me to take because, like I said, I have 2 little baby kidneys in me, and
Right.
I'm not going to defile them because they gotta take me to my destiny, and they're gonna be part of my purified legacy.
Yeah,
So
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, Sister Leah, I think is the area that you're in. You know, a lot of times, you know, when you're in an area and the reception is not so great, then you know, in terms of the live, it's an issue. So probably that's what it is. So it cuts you off sometimes. Even when I do live sometimes on location, when I'm traveling, it does that. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, Mama Lanis, you know, we just wanted to come on tonight and, you know, just drop some information on census and just giving the people more information, you know, teaching our people, you know, just bringing information to the light because, like I said, it's over time, you know, I mean, it's over time and
yes,
there's nothing that anyone could do to stop that. You know what I'm saying? We have
right.
Sister Leah is back. Yeah, Sister Leah, I think we're probably gonna go on for like maybe another 10 minutes. So go ahead, you know, tell us what event you were at anyway. I know you're out with the family if you don't mind sharing.
There's a golfing event. We're in Ohio. There's a golfing event going on, and it's where we are. I'm not for sure. It's called Top Golf or something like that. And we're just
Okay.
here with the family, just enjoying golfing, doing some golfing and everything. It's my first time golfing, so I'm enjoying myself with my
Okay.
family. But that's about it. You know, it's kind of noisy. That's why I kept it on mute.
Yeah.
You know, because
Thank
I
you.
don't want to. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
You're
yeah, I
very
mean,
welcome.
yeah, like I said, you know, continue to you know, enjoy yourself. We will talk. Well, I'm doing some traveling tomorrow, so I'll be on the
Okay.
road. But in the midst of all that, I will give you a call. I'll give you a call so we
Okay.
can discuss, you know, what we had. You know, we've been building on
Okay.
because a lot, you know, is coming together. So I have to keep you guys updated.
Okay.
All right. So have fun and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Mama Lioness.
Nice. Looking forward to
Yeah.
next
Bye, everybody.
time.
All right. Talk to you soon. Talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Yeah, so yeah, Mama Lioness. So like I said, man, you know, we just here putting in that work, you know what I mean? So I'm glad you know you made it safely from your trip back from New York. You know, I know it's a long travel, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but I hopefully you got some rest and you recuperated, you know?
Yeah, I'm still recuperating, but like I try to, people keep telling me, you know, you gotta take care of yourself before you can take care of somebody else. Well, I'm not the type of person that I'm going to allow any sickness or afflictions or persecutions or whatever keep me from moving forward because that's exactly what they want is you to become stagnant. You know, there's too much work to do. I know if I'm actually moving around, that's actually even better for me, you know, because even though I take herbs for to cleanse my blood
Hmm.
and things to uplift my immune system, it doesn't do you any good if you're not moving around, you
Okay.
know. So
Right.
that's helpful, and it keeps my mind focused on something other than myself.
Right.
So
True.
that's also helpful. But
Yeah.
in reference to the senses, you know, a sister she brought the attention to me today, and I'm like, I'm ready to go to Washington D.C. You know, I'm like literally, I say, let's go. I mean,
Hmm.
and I don't know when that was posted, but it sounds like it was done today or
Hmm.
yesterday. When was that posted?
Which one?
The one that the White House I had already determined, I think it was yesterday or today, that they're going to take all Negro birth certificates and turn them into African American. Is that
Oh,
the one you all were talking about?
well, no, well, I didn't have a conversation about that part. I haven't heard that.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's what I was kind of like listening out for, but I know it has something to do with census. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
come to the conclusion that's what the conversation was about because
Mm.
it was very alarming to her.
Yeah.
It was no surprise to me. I
Right.
mean, you know, that's what they're about. You know, is the depopulation and
Hmm.
anything that will cause a situation where they can call martial law,
Mm.
but then so many people are so pacified, and they're so content and followers, instead of being leaders. To them, it make no difference because they actually thinks that African American is a legal status even in the court system. So
Right.
no matter what they change, if they change us to, well, we're the only nation that has actually been through 4 or 5 different titles, but none of them are rooted in ethnic or
Mm.
lineage.
Mm.
So even transfer, so they made what do you call those people? Something like the Rainbow Bush Coalition or something. Those type of people. When you work for the system, you're part of the system. So
Right.
they're the ones who popularize the term African American, and
Hmm.
so they use that for the purpose of just for a time is this. So
Yeah.
if we can make it popular, then the people won't have a problem. I have a problem simply because you feel like you have the audacity to take something on my birth certificate and make a change when if that change, if there's no root in Negro, or there's no root in color, if there's no root in anything that you put on there, it's time for it to make a difference in putting our ethnicity, or like claim in our nation. It's
Hmm.
not a step down, it's supposed to be a step up, and
Yeah.
anything that they give us is not for our empowerment anyway, because
Yeah.
it's about them devouring us. So
Yeah. I agree. And just to build on what you're saying before I even continue, Mr. Giwan, um yeah, that piece right here, I made it myself. I just got creative, man. I got my feathers. I got some leather on the inside. It has cardboard, so I got a piece of cardboard and I cut it, all the way around. Got some leather, got some pennies on there, and got my feathers, and just stick it in the cardboard with glue. And I just get creative. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy to put those pieces together. Honestly, you just got to get your feathers and let the spirit guide you with that. You know what I mean? So just to answer your question, but yes, yeah, Mama Lioness, I tell folks like this, right?
mhm.
Trump is a trump card, and I don't
Yeah.
pay attention to politics, you know what I'm saying, or politics, because for me, they do what they have to do, and I do what I have to do. You
Mhm.
see, people have to realize that everything happened for a reason. And a lot of our people, they don't step up and do what they're supposed to do unless their backs is against the wall. You feel
Mhm.
me? And that is just one of the situations where the Great Spirit and our ancestors are putting our people in a position where they wouldn't have a choice, okay, but step up, because now it's becoming so evident, all right, that something is emphatically wrong with the situation that we are in, and they're trying their best to bury us even further. So if after all this is going on, you still can't see it, man, listen, if you're going to be perished, you're going to be perished. That's just the way it is. Not everybody is meant to be saved. That's just facts. You
Exactly.
see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we save ourselves, and then we come together and we build that big boat or ship, whatever, so we could save, or we could come together and work collectively. But some people, no matter what you do, they're not gonna get it. They
Right.
don't care, honestly. All right, they don't care. So they're just gonna go with what the master say, and a
Mhm.
lot of people just want to be sheep, like you said,
Mhm.
and there's nothing we could do about it. So I really don't spend too much time hurting my head trying to save people who don't want to be saved.
Right.
I'm just dropping the information, and who want to do the research, do the research. Who reach out to me for assistance, I will assist them. But apart from that, I'm not going to chase people down to save them, because the same people you are chasing down to save you, they're the ones that's going to come back and stab you in your neck.
Right, right.
You know?
As far as matriarchal way of thinking, I don't even spend time with anything that Harriet Tubman would have shot.
Right. True.
I mean,
Yeah.
so that just kind of like sums it up to me. I just don't have no time for no foolishness or whatever. This is a garden,
Mm.
we're like in a cosmic on a cosmic garden. So whether we literally plant a seed in the ground or we use our words to plant seeds,
Mhm.
it's like you say what you have to say, and you know that it's going to be received, even though they reject it,
Mhm.
because you're going to tell by the response.
Mhm.
When people respond in a negative way, that means they heard exactly what it is that you said.
Right.
They didn't approve of it,
Mhm.
but it just lets me know the seed's been planted, so I
Yeah,
can just keep it moving.
of course, of
And
course.
then the
Eh,
divine spirit will send somebody else to water it, or you never know, you might be the one who's doing the watering of the
mm,
seed that was planted before you. But
mm,
according to that individual, the only way it will grow is for them to desire whether or not if they want to confirm what it is that they say. If they
mm.
desire truth, then they can be fruitful. If they do not desire truth, then they will wither. And that's not a choice of ours. That's a choice that they have to make for themselves.
That's true, and I love the way you articulated that because, a lot of times, brothers and sisters call me with the frustration of their family, not getting it or waking up. But I like what you said in terms of just putting it out there in the universe, and you are still planting the seed. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's still gonna manifest anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
I also like the little thing you said about you're not gonna waste your time with anybody Harriet Tubman would have shut down. So that's a great way of putting that.
Yeah,
I like that. You know what I mean? And that's facts.
from a
But
movie
we
article.
got a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, yeah. So in closing, my sister, is there anything you wanna tell our brothers and sisters before we conclude?
I'm hearing feedback. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm not hearing the feedback. I'm hearing you just fine. It's just that I hear you a little lower now. So I don't know if you turn your volume down. Maybe you did, but you sound a little lower now. But there's no feedback.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I probably said enough already.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that they take it and marinate in it. I just ask that everybody acknowledge that that they be smothered and covered in protection,
Mhm.
provision, counsel, and comfort, and know that the divine goes before us to
Mhm.
lead us, the great Mother Spirit beside us to guide us,
Mhm.
the divine ancestors behind us to protect us, the divine Father over us to cover us, and all of the sequel of making life equal
Mhm.
is beneath us to carry us, but most importantly, the infinite intelligence is within us to empower us to do whatever that we've been called, chosen, and sent to do.
I concur. I concur. And with that being said, Mama Lioness, she have said it. She have said it all. So I'm just gonna say thank you guys for being a part of the build this evening. I will look more into what Mama Lioness mentioned in terms of the birth certificates and all that. I'll do some research on that. If it's something worth talking about, then we'll definitely talk about it. But I hope you guys have a great continuation. Continue to stand tall. Continue to walk with your head high because once again, we are what the world is waiting on. The world is waiting on us to stand up as the Aborigines. All right. They move when we move. And you could see in every facet of our culture, all right, our ways and everything that we have given the world. You see what I'm saying? So they're waiting for us to stand up. All right. So with that being said, you guys continue to be great to each other, love each other. This is not about who have more or less between us. We have to come together and work out our differences. We'll work it out later. Let's focus on what we have in common. All right. And we have a parasite that we're dealing with. So let's deal with the parasite and then we'll work everything else later. All right. So thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you for you guys for supporting the super chat as usual. And Mama Lioness, I'm certainly sure we'll talk soon because, like I said, I'm gonna hit you up maybe in my travels or when I get back because we have some things to talk about in terms of us moving forward. With what we have we had discussed. Once everything is set and the foundation is set, then we'll let the masses know, what we're working on. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff is still being worked out in the spiritual realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it is going to manifest in the flesh. So take care of yourself, my sister. I do hope you feel better physically, and those herbs do wonders. All right.
Oh yes, 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 yes. I did want the spirit gave me a download on something. So like it's like what we read and
Mm,
what we believe is kind of like how she always has me to say that I forgot to say in the reading, the poetry that she gave me. So it is written, so it is spoken, so it is believed, so shall it be done.
indeed, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, get some rest, my sister, and we'll definitely talk soon. Very much appreciated. All right.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime, anytime. All right. Well, guys, I just want to say, thank you on behalf of Sister Leah once again, and Golden Crown Sparrow for being, part of, the bill this evening. Of course, Mama Lioness, with the, rawr, the lion. Thank you for that, and thank you to each and every one of you for being part of the feed. Sister Felicia, I apologize. Don't know why you couldn't get on this evening. I really don't know, but I know you had a lot to share as well. But I'm certainly sure eventually we'll get a chance to do that. My brothers, I keep telling my brothers, man, I want to start the bill with the brothers. As a matter of fact, we got to start something, and I want to start doing that on Mondays, and I'll tell you why. It may not be this Monday because I'm traveling, but I definitely want to start a bill with the brothers. I keep saying that, but I haven't gotten any emails from the brothers telling me, what I'm saying, they want to be on the build. All right, so we got to make something happen. All right, the matriarch build is consistent and it's powerful. All right, and I want the brothers to come in as well so we could start building, because my thing is, right, I want the world to see that our sisters could get along and build. I want the world to see that our brothers could come along and build, and I want the world to see that we all could come together and build. All right, this is what this platform is about. It's your platform, it's our platform, and like I said, we got work to do. So you guys have a great continuation, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right. I'll be traveling tomorrow. I'll be on the road. I'm gonna go to Illinois for a quick visit, and when I get back, we'll get back to business. All right. Talk to you all soon. Wholesomeness and love. Wada.